Chris, do you know the whereabouts of Zaslow? Because I see a clue. For some reason, there's half a bagel with way too much cream cheese on it next to me, and I see a clue that he's here somewhere, but I haven't seen what he's doing as we start the show, and he's usually pretty responsible.
Way too much cream cheese is quite the statement. It needs to be a lot of cream cheese for it to be way too much cream cheese.
He's hurting us. You've seen the breakfasts go down in quality because of the amount of money that him and Ethan are spending on the amount of cream cheese they consume in the morning.
It is a lot of cream cheese. I don't think there should be a measurable difference in height. There should be like NBA players in socks versus in shoes. Bagel without the cream cheese or with the cream cheese.
And now they're policing the cream cheese because I heard Ethan before the show say to Lewis, hey, why are you taking so much cream cheese?
The first time I saw Zaslow's bagel, I thought it was a piece of cake because it had so much
cake
on top of it. But what's the answer to my question? Where is he? What's he doing right now?
I know he's here today. I would assume he's preparing for some punishment. I don't know what he's dressing as today, but I believe he's preparing for a grid of death punishment.
I don't know if the rest of you feel the way that I do. Did all of you feel the general hostility of Mike Ryan this morning, walking into the room just enraged at the CFP committee and Arkansas's athletic director?
I would say personally I felt it more on Twitter the last couple of days than I did this morning. He seemed fine this morning for me.
Well, he greeted me with bleep off. Why would you say that NC State won only 5 games and one of them was against Campbell? And then he accused me of getting that stat from somewhere other than the schedule. Like he accused me of getting it from a biased member.
I asked him who emailed you that. Greg Sankey?
He's not. He's not being reasonable about.
I'm being logical. I'm applying logic, and that's where I've erred.
Yes, you're not being reasonable about understanding that this is like complaining about the judges in boxing. It's what the thing is. Like this, the whole thing that college football is feed the argument, feed the outrage before it even matters. Let's do a television show on total contrivances. It's like doing a television show after the 3rd round in boxing by asking the judges what they think so far.
Rank the fighters so far.
Yeah, so far, what do you think, Larry?
If we had open scoring in boxing and combat sports, obviously you'd know what you'd have going out throughout the different rounds. In college football, you kind of have that too because you have the games every single week and then you have the show every single week.
Only instead of the charismatic Larry Merchant, you have a wet sock.
All right, we'll get to the Arkansas athletic director right now.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. Football is back, Jack. Whether on the ground or through the air, when the chips are down and you throw a prayer, when your team is primed and on the hunt, it's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control, and we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
I'm doing this off the top of my head, so I will need help from the group on this. When I think of Arkansas sports in general, I think of Nolan Richardson's basketball teams, but I'm pretty sure Arkansas hasn't been great at anything since Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones played for the Arkansas football team. So that's how long that has been. I'm just doing it off of the top of my head. I have not looked up the resume of Arkansas, but off the top of your head, give me the Arkansas teams. It would only be basketball, right? Football hasn't mattered in Arkansas in a minute. And the Arkansas athletic director is now running or spokesman for the CFP. He's got very little in the way of personality. So Zaslow is serving his punishment. He is the Pope. He is a Pope who really likes his cream cheese. And he is a Chicago White Sox fan. It is a good outfit. What is the answer to my question? Off the top of your head, any of you.
If you're going to bypass the Arkansas Razorbacks men's basketball team, they had Darren McFadden, Felix Jones. They had a good run in football there in the SEC, and then Bobby Petrino got in that accident.
How about a man named Jerry Jones? Ever heard of him?
Have you ever heard of Steve Martin?
Steve Martin was on it too.
I mentioned that it's a long time ago because Jerry Jones and Jimmy Johnson are very old. They're both in their 80s, and so they played football. I want you to imagine, given the general frailty right now of Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, Jimmy Johnson was a nose tackle. That's the last time Arkansas was good at football, but I'm going to make fun of this person. What is this person's name? I don't know how to pronounce
Hunter
his name.
Yurachek.
All right, let's play some sound here as they explain. He explains why it is that Notre Dame and Miami, even though they will have the same record at the end of the season if they both keep winning, and even though Miami beat Notre Dame when they played, why he's explaining that Notre Dame's loss to Miami is more impressive than Miami's victory over Notre Dame.
Be in the field, we know they have to win the ACC to get in. How close is Miami and Notre Dame in terms of evaluation within the room?
I think when you look, Reese, at Notre Dame and Miami, we really compare the losses of those two teams. Miami has lost to two unranked teams. Notre Dame has lost to two teams that are ranked in our top 13. And so we really haven't compared those two teams. They haven't been in similar comparative pools to date, but Miami is creeping up into that range where they will be compared to Notre Dame if something happens above them.
I will continue to request of the audience and people who listen to this show for the last few years, when invariably they did a made-for-television event for this very reason, trafficking on America's #1 addiction, which is just outrage. It's just arguing. That is the greatest sport we have going right now, is argument. And so I will continue to compare it to boxing. I don't love that boxing has 3 judges and that's how you decide the winners. I've never loved it, but that's what college football is. You can use your computers, you could use your committees. They're not deciding things on the field. They are deciding things with a bunch of people being judges. And so understand that it's made for television gymnastics. Like, that's what it is. I understand that it's college football, but it's gymnastics. They're not making the decisions based absolutely on merit. It's not absolute in any way. It's this guy haunting Mike from behind because he is, as you said, a wet sock. He has no personality. If you're going to make something for television, entertain me, man.
Yeah, get a charismatic lead. I think where I and most of the people struggle to follow is we went to this committee because we were upset with the computers because they weren't taking head-to-head into account. And they outlined these criteria, and the criteria shifts year to year. There's no consistency. Last year, they underlined quality wins. This year, they're saying when you compare Miami, you compare the quality losses. Comparing quality losses is a tiebreaker in the event the two teams don't play head-to-head. Why are we bypassing that? And also, if let's set my Miami homerism aside for just a second.
It's hard to do.
I'm setting it aside for now.
You're cloaked in it. Sometimes it feels like you're drowning in it, and it's only your lips underneath the ocean of Miami bias.
So they established the criteria. Notre Dame and Miami, we can't even compare them because Notre Dame is in a different tier. BYU is ahead of Miami. BYU has one loss. BYU has a win over Utah, which is ranked just below BYU. It's a better win than Notre Dame has, which is USC. They have one fewer loss, and their quality loss is to Texas Tech. They have one loss.
Yeah, but
Notre Dame has two. So establishing the criteria. So if I've established that criteria, why in the hell is Notre Dame ranked ahead of BYU?
I got a better question. Why is Miami ranked ahead of Georgia Tech? We're the best team in the ACC. Why don't we have that spot?
You lost to NC State.
They
put up 48 points on you. NC State didn't cross the 50. I hear you. The good news for you is you have everything in front of you. You can play your way into the ACC championship game.
You're arguing with a wall.
And you'll be there. Like, everyone understands that. I would look at those CFP. I'd say it's a joke. Oh, cool. Like,
I care.
I'm with you.
And they're going to get in if they win the ACC. Like, it's not an issue.
I'm with you, by the way.
I'm just saying, we're going to have an ACC team in there. Why don't we have the current ACC leader?
Let me answer Mike's question when he says, why is BYU with one loss ahead of Notre Dame? Because behind Notre Dame. The reason for that is because this year, for whatever the reason is, they're measuring the losses.
But I just told you.
But BYU got dragged by Texas Tech. It's the way they lost to Texas Tech. It's that it wasn't a close game. Notre Dame.
That's the number 6 team. And they have one fewer loss.
Yeah, but yes, it's the number 6 team, but they lost by 1,000,000 points.
They lost by 3 scores, and it's one loss. It's one loss, and it's a quality one. They have a better win than Notre Dame has.
What I'm telling you is you're saying you just made your own point when you said they're measuring losses this year. The way they lost to Texas Tech is what makes them drop that far in the rankings.
So now it's how much you lose?
Yes.
It's not even the amount of losses?
Yes.
So they have one fewer loss. It's a quality loss. One better win than Notre Dame.
It's not a quality loss because you lose by 3 scores. It's not a quality loss. You just played a good opponent, but you got dragged by them. That game was never close.
It's not a quality loss.
No, because of the way they lost.
Okay.
If they're measuring losses ahead of the quality wins, why are the undefeated teams 1, 2, and 3? Like the teams with a loss should be.
Well, that's a good point. But
1, 2, and 3.
I think it's because Mike Ryan made fun of me last week because I said the 3 best teams I've seen are Texas A&M, Ohio State, and Indiana.
No, they don't have any quality losses, though.
No, but he's like, really, Dan? So you're going out on a limb there with all the undefeated teams. But BYU was undefeated, and I never considered them one of the best teams, and then they got dragged by Texas Tech. Texas Tech is also lost. They lost because they played their backup quarterback in an important game, but Texas Tech has looked all season to me like one of the best teams. But it's the way they beat BYU. Here's the thing about Miami. Here is the thing that I'd make an argument if we're doing this as subjectively as judges on behalf of Miami. You know they're one of the best teams. You know why? They're going to be favored in every single game they play this year. So you know they're one of the best teams. So if there are a bunch of teams with 2 losses, the money tells you they're never an underdog. They are always expected to win every single game they play this season. Now, I don't know. The 3 teams at the top would maybe Indiana would be favored against them?
No,
I think they would.
Right now, again, people keep saying, well, who would be favored right now, Notre Dame or Miami? And I would always say Notre Dame, they were favored when they played in September when Miami beat them. Like, lines are about getting 50-50 action. Right. Miami would probably be an underdog at Oxford. I think I saw a 3.5-point line out there. I think this is much larger than betting lines or anything like that. I knew Miami's chances were cooked in this CFP ranking.
There's nothing larger than betting lines, by the way. That's the most important thing. Like when you say this is something larger than betting lines, it's where the money goes. And
if that wet sock came out and said that, I'd understand it. But there is no consistency here. They put Arizona State at number 25. We all know why they did that.
Why?
It's directly tied to not wanting to have Miami and Notre Dame bunched up together. It is, because they want to avoid that discussion.
I want to ask you something. So if that is true,
that's why Utah exists.
Okay.
Which, by the way, Utah's athletic director joined the playoff committee last week.
Okay, if that part is true, that's why they want to have them number 25, do they have that discussion in the room, or is it like an unspoken thing where they all know, hey, like, we're just going to do the thing, which will...
Well, one of the people having the discussion is the aforementioned athletic director at Utah. Arizona State got ranked number 25. Arizona State represents Utah's best win. Utah's best win came against Arizona State, who was playing Jeff Sims at quarterback, not Sam Levitt. Arizona State is behind both Louisville and SMU. If you look at others receiving votes in the AP Top 25, they're behind SMU in the coaches poll. Both SMU and Louisville are unranked, and I've heard for 2 weeks how this is a bad loss. The SMU loss is a bad loss, even though SMU was a CFP team last year and has one ACC regular season loss since they joined the conference. I keep hearing it's a bad loss. So what do? How do we juice this Utah ranking? We rank Arizona State even though they have no business being ranked here. Arizona State has zero business being ranked. They're behind the two teams that Miami lost to in all the other rankings.
I hear what you're saying, my son.
The idea that we're throwing this in the lap of judges and you're bouncing past what I'm saying about betting lines, when it comes to the judgment of money, Miami will be favored in all of its games. That means you think they're good. You're not doing that with more than 12 teams in the country. They're one of the best 12 teams in the country based on how it is the money would decide when you put them against people. The reason the SMU loss is viewed as a bad loss is because they were an 8.5-point favorite.
Right. Notre Dame was I think it closed at 6.5-point favorite to Texas A&M. I guess the difference is 2 points there. Look, Notre Dame is a really good team. I understand this.
Why does everyone love Notre Dame so much?
I understand why Notre Dame is a good.
Serious.
You're saying that?
Yeah, that's
the
they
Pope is
have,
saying that.
Sometimes
The Pope knows why everyone loves Notre Dame so much. What do you mean?
I'm trying to be fair, my son.
Amen.
I would love to hear the Pope rip Notre Dame. Notre Dame has gotten fat off of a flat track. I mean, Notre Dame's third best win is probably Miami's third best win. It's both encapsulated by NC State. I mean, they were up 10-7 on NC State at halftime. But Notre Dame is a really good team. I'm not arguing that Notre Dame should be out of the CFP. Only they should be out of the CFP if Miami finds itself out of the CFP, because they're either both in or just Miami's in.
I've asked this question before on Cinephobe, but does Notre Dame have to kick back to the Vatican like a little taste of the action?
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Does Notre Dame have to kick back to the Vatican a little taste of the action?
And I hate Notre Dame.
I'm going to move off of this subject. If you want more Mike Ryan on University of Miami outrage, there is a bubble that he lives in. He is a co-owner of an afternoon delight that he's going to be partaking in. Are you going to do a 7-hour outrage special today?
We have Kane's Insight today. D-Money, Peter Rees, and myself will be on live on our YouTube page, youtube.com/@officialcanes Insight at 1:30 if you want more of this. We have Jess joining us later today. That's a losing proposition for me. I really don't want to do that. But she'll be joining us.
I will just tell people that if they want more of this, that's where they can get it. But it is something I've been lamenting. Like, I really do remember on Highly Questionable when they broke out the whole idea of committee, weekly announcements, made for television event. I've been complaining, how long they've been doing this now, for more than 5 years, about like the stupidity of, we're really going to do this in November where we're just going to fill the work week with talking about arguing about what judges think about things that are subjective when the teams actually play. And the way that we do meritocracy in sports is you play, you win, you get to keep playing games. Unless it's Inter Miami, then you take a month off.
So to be clear, nobody here will even deign an answer whether Notre Dame has to kick back to the Vatican.
It doesn't appear like anyone here has an answer, so we've just thrown it out to the audience.
I don't think you gave anyone a chance, to be honest.
Okay.
You kind of said poll, and then you just switched the
go
topic.
ahead. All right, let's
Anybody
see.
have an answer?
All right, let's see.
Pope, do you got an answer?
Don't worry about it, my child.
Okay, I like that answer. My fellow Catholics over here in the back row, you guys got an answer?
Catholic conspiracy? Count me out on that.
I'm Christian, but yes, I do believe that there is a little bit of kickback back to the Vatican. Like it's tied in.
Dan, you haven't weighed in yet.
Because I don't think it's a good question. I thought it was a question that shouldn't have gone answered. I didn't think that anyone had anything. It appears I was right.
Well, I guess we could just go back to arguing about the rankings for things that don't matter for another month.
They matter, though. Like, this is what I hate about this, is it does matter. It does matter. Like, if this is all just setting the table for Miami to handle its business in November, something that they struggle to do, something that I am concerned about them doing because history is my guide. But if we're just setting this up for Miami TC being the next 2 weeks, looking the way that they've looked since they fixed their offense, then you're just going to pull the rug out from Notre Dame. And that ain't necessarily fair either.
I think we're looking at this in a weird spot because we used to have a system that would take out the human element. Now,
Talk about it.
Okay, now
We're taking it into account.
Let my boy cook.
The polls were a huge part of the criteria.
agree.
of
But
the
what did we
BCS.
take out? What did we take out?
Computers.
The computers. Okay, AI is in such a good place now. We are so above and so beyond anything that we could even imagine.
We need a robot to be part of the committee.
All of a sudden, AI. You put ChatGPT, you put Grok, you put whoever you want.
I
Gemini,
love
it doesn't
this.
matter who it is.
Who's Gemini?
You'll find out about that.
I don't
buddy.
know that
I thought you
fool.
see everything.
It's an American Gladiator.
I'm gonna tell you something. Grok will have FIU in the rankings.
Well,
Tony's cooking right now.
well, I think that we should go back to the computers, put everything in, and see what that makes
You know
sense.
why we got away from the computers? Because everybody was upset because the computers didn't care about head-to-head matchups. And here we are.
But you write that into the algorithm.
20 years later, and the committee that was supposed to be a guardrail against bypassing head-to-head is once again bypassing head-to-head. You can look up what the BCS rankings would be. Miami would still be behind
I
Notre
hear you,
Dame,
but I'm
and
saying-
everybody would be upset about this.
You write it into the algorithm that it spits back at you. Hey, consider head-to-head as an important thing.
The algorithms are smarter now.
ask a
Back then-
follow up. Hey, did you consider head to head? And then they give you a new answer.
Back then, it was just like, put in calculation.
It's like beep, boop, boop, beep,
beep,
beep.
according to my calculation. Now it's like having a conversation with
exactly
you.
right.
Say, hey, Mike. Well, here's the deal. That's how it would answer. It would be like, hey, Mike. So here's the deal. You know, Miami. I know they beat Notre Dame, and that should count as a lot. But that happened at the beginning of the year. Things have happened since then. Plus, you guys have some pretty bad losses.
I will tell you that I believe that even though this is the local hour and even though the subject matter is interesting to me, I will tell you that I believe that the audience has a glaze over effect on the last 20 years of all the arguing that we've done in November that doesn't matter by the end of the season when they've played all the games. And it's just something we do to entertain ourselves during the week, during a content week, where you need stuff to feed on. I know that Amin is shocked by the fact that AI is now capable of blackmail, and so I want to get to that in a second. But the last few weeks, John Oliver has had some funny video that he has played on Last Week Tonight. One of them was a shocking beauty pageant where the talent of the beauty contestant was death metal. And it was just really funny to watch a beauty pageant contestant do death metal.
What does that mean? Like what you're saying? I know what you're saying. I don't understand.
I'm
what that
saying
means.
that there was a talent portion of a beauty contest, and the woman during the talent portion was just doing death metal, where she was like,
She was doing vocals.
Oh, she was singing. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
I mean,
gotcha.
not really singing, more like
It's singing.
growling. But
You have a good death metal voice. I didn't know that.
How about that? Put that on the poll. Did you know Dan Le Batard had a good death metal voice?
But the other video that he showed, and I'm going to just show you this if you have not seen it. When you say the robots, we need another robot in charge of the committee, I believe we have one, and I believe this is the robot that we have, and the rest of his helpers are the committee, where they tried to hide this while they were trying to bring out a robot.
I'm not seeing anything here.
A robot just fell down while trying to walk, and then they tried to bring out a curtain, and the curtain just sort of fell apart here.
Just
You
twisted
can
up
see-
the curtain.
Yeah, the curtain.
That robot's drunk.
They were trying to hide the drunk robot,
And they're like, no, put the curtain this way.
Robot walks like Joe Biden.
Now, keep in mind, throughout this entire thing, they were playing the theme song to Rocky.
That is
Gonna
that
fly
Joe
now.
Biden? That could be Joe Biden.
So this was during Eye of the Tiger. The robot.
Come on, man.
No, gonna fly now. Dun, 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 dun.
Just put a little oil in me.
I'm a robot. You know,
I'm like the Tin Man.
you talk about AI. Popsicles.
Tonight,
Scran.
the Golden State Warriors are in town. I want to get to some Steve Kerr sound. Yesterday, Juju played the world's smallest violin for Steve Kerr, complaining that this is the worst road trip he's ever had in his life, that the worst travel schedule that he's ever had in his life. Despite all the load management, players are continually getting injured. Golden State lost at Orlando yesterday. Orlando's undermanned and ends up beating Golden State anyhow. And so Steve Kerr comes into town tonight with Jimmy Butler. Are we expecting Jimmy Butler to play? We've
Nope.
done.
That's funny. No.
Nope.
I never expect a star to play in that league.
So how many free throws did Jimmy Butler have last night? Because he played one of those games where he went for 30 points because he got a million free throws.
Small correction. He didn't go for 30 points. He went for 30 perns.
Yeah, you do have to get that. That's something that you've got to get.
13 of 15 from the line.
So he played one of those games.
Jimmy Butler, why you did not have a 30 perk?
You guys are expecting him to play tonight?
No, there's no way he's playing. Steve Kerr's been setting this up for a couple days now. Curry, by the way, is definitely not playing. Like Curry after the game, I'm a little bit sore. I'll have to see how I feel. Jimmy said something similar too. Curry is definitely not playing, but Steve Kerr's been setting this up for a couple days. That Butler and probably Draymond is not going to play either. And it's annoying too because the Heat are on the second half of a home and home.
Both playing, look at that.
This is something that I've been saying for quite a while, Dan. The whole rest rules thing, it's kind of stupid because it all rests upon your ability to lie effectively. So basically, if you just start the lie a little earlier, by the time you're about to sit the guy, which you already knew, they already have on their schedule, they know which games this is a sit game, this is a sit game, whatever. By the time you get to that game, it's like, no, I've already been establishing for the last week. He's been feeling under the weather. What? Is the league going to fly doctors in and open your mouth, stick out your tongue, go, they're not going to do all that. They're just going to have to take your word for it.
What did you make of the Cavs being fined $100,000 for that aforementioned home and home in Miami?
Yep.
That they sat all their starters for the second game. They played their starters in the first game and lost it. Then they sat all their starters in the second game and won it, but they were fined $100,000 for allowing Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley to just go home.
Yeah, so it was a front end of a back-to-back because they did play versus Toronto at home the very next night.
But the second half of a home and home.
It's not a home and
Not
home.
right now,
Home,
Jazz.
home.
Let's not confuse people.
Sorry, my child.
Dan, they were fine because they didn't do what Steve Kerr did, which is establish an alibi really nice and early. Yeah. What they did is say, oh, yeah, he's fine. And even if they had established an alibi, he's not feeling so well, the league would have turned on TV what the hell is he doing at Louisville, Kentucky?
You work for Vegas.
Let's play the Steve Kerr sound talking about injuries. Steve Kerr is always a good talker, and I wonder how you guys feel about all that he's going to say here.
I'm very concerned. It's dramatic. The pace difference is dramatic. This team tonight has really upped their pace compared to last year. I think across the league, everybody understands now that it's just easier to score if you can beat the opponent down the floor, get out in transition. But when everybody's doing that, the games are much higher paced, faster paced, and then everyone has to cover out to 25 feet because everybody can shoot threes. So we have all the data. Players are running faster and further than ever before. And so we're trying to do the best we can to protect them, but basically have a game every other night. And it's not an easy thing to do.
I hadn't actually considered the idea of pace being harder for old people. It's not something that I had thought of that, Orlando plays fast. Miami obviously plays fast. So they're not likely to play back-to-back nights where they have to run at that speed given the way the game is played today. It's not something I'd considered.
Dan, first of all, what a company man Steve Kerr is, wearing the Golden State Valkyries shirt to the post-game press conference. Shout out to him. But also, he's right, and this is the part where I think it's really lost on people. People like to compare, it's so much faster than it was in the early 2000s and the 90s. Did you know, Dan, that 10 years ago, 2016, which feels close, right? 73-win Warriors, LeBron 3-1 lead, all that stuff, right? It feels very recent. 10 years ago, there was one team in the entire NBA that played at a pace of 100 possessions per game. Today, 2/3 of the league play at a pace of 100 possessions per game.
Let me ask you, as our basketball insider who once sat in an NBA office, your thoughts on yes, obviously, without question, there's more pace in today's game. We can't say it's more physical, though, can we?
Well, Dan, think about the injuries that's happening. It's not like, I got hit and then my chest caved in or whatever. It's soft tissue injuries, groin injuries, hamstrings, right? Calf strains.
Ankles,
right? These are all pretty much non-contact type injuries. So you can't talk about physicality. What we're talking about is wear and tear. And when you look around, and again, Giannis is out for a couple weeks now. We know Ja's out. We know AD is still out. We know Kobe White is out. Like all around the league, Dylan Harper, Victor Wembanyama. Bam, Tyler, all these guys are not hurt because, it was too physical. It's because of soft tissue injuries, and this is due to wear and tear. And the wear and tear doesn't come from, he played too many minutes last night, but it's an accumulation, right, of these guys playing lots and lots of games as youths, right? And then the other thing, and this is big, they didn't have diversification, right? So years and years ago, I watched this documentary called In Search of Greatness. They interviewed Jerry Rice and they interviewed Wayne Gretzky and all these greatest of the great athletes, right? And one of the common threads they found in all of them was they all were multi-sport athletes as youths. Wayne Gretzky talks about hey, as soon as hockey season was over, I throw my gear in the basement. I wouldn't look at it again until it started getting cold again. I picked up my baseball, man. I wanted to be a major league player. That was his dream. Hockey was his second dream, right? And so you think about a lot of the great players through history. Kobe Bryant was an avid soccer player. Tracy McGrady was a baseball player. All these guys played multiple sports. Michael Jordan, obviously. Now, all these kids are you're just playing basketball every day, all day with a trainer, with AU, with your school team, whatever. And so what happens is you're getting wear and tear on the same muscles in the same way over and over and over and over. By the time you get to this level, the pace and the, all of it adds up.
They've got an injury problem. The NBA has an injury problem.
How do you fix that? I mean, because you're talking about, you can't tell kids now, hey, don't play basketball if you're going to try and be a basketball player, right? It's the same thing overseas in Europe where you have these academies where kids are little kids. Hey, this kid can kind of kick around a soccer ball. Perfect. Let's put him in the academy. And he lives 17 years in this academy until he makes his debut. How do you figure the NBA tells people of families of kids, hey, don't let them play basketball?
You start an NBA men's softball league. Who are you taking first overall? LeBron's got to be a high pick. I'll take LeBron high.
Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards would be strong.
An NBA men's softball team.
What do you mean transition? That's exactly what we're talking about. He's talking about NBA guys playing other sports.
Wembanyama would be sick first baseman.
Thursday night men's softball league.
First baseman, though.
Too big of a strike zone, yeah. Too big.
He would help you, though. Anything that is a ground ball to the infield, anywhere in the infield, he just stretches, and you can just flip him the ball. The third baseman
can you picture that visual?
But he can't field, right? There's no way he can field. If there's
base.
You don't need to really field. No one hits the ball.
A ground ball hit it towards him. He can't catch that.
He does the splits.
You don't think he looks athletic enough, do you?
It's a little too tall.
Let's get a stat of the day music here.
I saw Nick Johnson play first base. What the hell are you talking about?
He does the splits.
Matt Stairs in interleague play would go to first base. John Kruk played first base at a high level. What the hell are you talking about?
He's 2 feet taller than all of those guys.
Sid Bream played first base.
And landing a split. He's literally the craziest athlete I've ever seen. What the hell are you talking about?
You know about Ken Herbeck?
I don't know that fool.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is here, start of the day.
Guys, obviously we know Steph Curry is incredible, the best shooter of all time. He has 47 9+ 3-point games made. 47 of them. The next closest is Damian Lillard with 14.
Whoa.
So he has 47 games where he's made 9 threes or more. He almost had one last night where he had 7.
Dan, 25, 30 years ago, Brian Shaw hit 10 threes in a game.
I remember.
Everyone lost their mind.
10 for 15.
Everyone lost their mind.
I was going crazy.
He made how many threes? That record will never be broken.
He made his first 6 that night. It was crazy. It was at the Bucks.
Terry Rozier also shot 10 threes. Also, this man, Steve Balboni, was a first baseman, just so you know.
No way.
Yes. That
first
was
base coach?
A power-hitting first baseman.
Tony, late-stage Pablo Sandoval played first base.
You see Miguel Cabrera, he couldn't even move. He's playing first base.
You guys don't get it.
Just put up Steve Balboni again there, just so that you know, like Costanza and Seinfeld, this is Steve Balboni at 24 years old, just so that you know, this is his athletic prime. This was him as a rookie. Steve.
You have my Steve Martin in the Father of the Bride? You're supposed to be 39 years old. Give me a break.
I thought the best example we could come up there was George Costanza being a young single man in New York when he was clearly looking like a 70-year-old. Get me the other Steve Kerr sound that we also have, because so you guys are not expecting Golden State. I think the last time Golden State came to town, I think Steph Curry also didn't play. I think he sat out that game as well. You do not expect Jimmy Butler to play tonight. You think the Golden State Warriors are just going to dump tonight's game.
I got no Curry, no Butler, no Draymond. I got all three of them out.
All right, let's hear Steve Kerr here before tonight's game, because I'm assuming that Jimmy Butler will be booed tonight. They're going to just boo in general, but you're telling me they're not going to get the opportunity to boo because he's not going to be introduced and he's just going to be sitting in street clothes on the sideline. So he would get booed, but he's going to avoid it because they're never going to show him in a way that introduces him. Let's hear from Steve Kerr here.
Everyone, all the constituents would have to agree to take less revenue. And 2025 in America, good luck in any industry to agree. Imagine, some big company saying, you know what, we're not as concerned about our stock price. We're actually concerned with employing people and giving people a stable job and making our product better. And come on, Nick, that's not happening. We know that.
I set that question up, set that answer up poorly, because the question was about shortening the season. And he's like, no, we're not going to shorten the season because it would require everyone to collectively bargain differently what's already been collectively bargained.
I mean, Dan, Jimmy played 38 minutes last night, which we all know is torture for an NBA player. There's no way he plays tonight.
I think, give Steve Kerr credit, most of the time people say, you need to shorten the season. And they never add along the other caveat of if you do that, everyone's going to get less money. So at least he's acknowledging it, even though it ain't going to happen.
Mike Ryan is taunting me, laughing right now. He's saying that this is what just happened. I'm trying to listen to both of you, and he's like, Dan, Get Up is doing a better show than you right now. Get Up is so much.
They are.
Get Up is so much better than you right now.
What a game
I'm looking
playing.
at it right now, Dan. It is a better show right now.
What is Get Up doing that is better than what it is that I'm
with
doing?
Jeff Saturday. Mike, what are they playing?
Definitely or definitely not.
Ooh. I'm good at that game.
We don't have a Jeff.
You guys out here with El Na and El
How do we turn that into a Dan game?
We need a Jeff.
We need a Jeff.
You know what? They are doing a better show.
Danfinitely or Danfinitely not?
No.
Definitely or definitely not.
What a flex that would be if he just does that casually.
We got to get a Jeff
Hey, Jeff,
on.
are you going to be there? Definitely.
We got to get a Jeff on. I need to play this game.
We need our own version. This is what we.
Let's play this with Jessica.
They have the golden
Definitely?
arches.
No, definitely.
Definitely or definitely not.
They have the golden arches. We have the golden arcs.
When I say he's got his own money, I mean he's got his own money.
We both have 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, lettuce, onions, pickles on a bun.
What's the difference?
Theirs have sesame seeds. Ours have no seeds.
I want to get to Being Eddie, the Netflix documentary, because I do wonder if young people will place him in the pantheon with the Richard Pryors and the George Carlins, because young people have only known Eddie Murphy as somebody who does family stuff or does Shrek or does stuff for kids.
I don't think the young people know who Richard Pryor and George Carlin are.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, Dan.
The young people is like probably... Do they put Dave Chappelle in Eddie Murphy's class?
Oh, no, but I would say that in terms of historical resonance, I believe that, and now maybe I have this wrong because of a general ignorance about history, but I thought that when you go, I don't know, I never saw Lenny Bruce. But I knew who he was because I liked comedy and because he did groundbreaking things. And because all comedians after him ended up citing him as one of the models. So look, none of you saw Babe Ruth play, but you all know who Babe Ruth is.
The Dominican guy.
Black. If you could see that on my threads at Darth Amin. I actually had the exclusive. No, it's true. Yeah. I'm just plugging it.
How did you get that?
I asked. Nobody asked, apparently. So here's the deal, Dan.
Both playing, look at that.
Think about someone who's 20 years old. Ask them, who's better, LeBron or Jordan? Most of the 20-year-olds are saying LeBron, right? Now ask someone who's 40 years old, who's better, LeBron or Jordan? They'll say, oh, it's definitely Jordan. But then ask them, who's better, Jordan or Magic? And they're like, come on, it's Jordan.
It's definitely Jordan.
Now go back a little older. Get a 60-year-old. Ask him, who's better, Magic or Jordan. They'll probably say Magic, or they might say, actually, young man, it's Kareem. And then someone older than that say, wait a second, what about Bill Russell? The way it works is the younger you are, the less you care about things that happened when you weren't alive. You're like, oh, I was growing up, I heard about Lenny Bruce, I know about Lenny Bruce. Kids nowadays don't know shit about anything that happened before they were alive. These are people who have never watched The Godfather. What? It was before I was born. Me too, motherfucker. I still watched it. I still watch it because I understood it was great. But the attitude of children nowadays is I don't need to know anything that ain't happening right now.
sold.
That is unbelievable what you did, but he threw in a mother bleeper to make him sound edgier.
That's Florida, bro.
You're going
Florida.
maximum
That's
Florida, man.
That's Florida.
When did you decide to start doing that? When was it encouraged? When did that become your signature? The idea that you're up there just throwing your body at the people here in a tight pair of jeans, shirtless.
I was. The jeans have gotten tighter the fat I've gotten. They weren't always tight. My daughter said Baby Walrus needs to move out of skinny jeans. I started doing it just to cheer myself up because you get on the road and do like a Thursday night and you'd be like, I got a whole weekend ahead of me. This is going to be a long weekend. I'm missing my family. It's not sold out. So I would rip my shirt off and kill a beer to make myself giggle because I thought it was silly and to remind myself this should be fun. And then one night I was in Columbus, Ohio. I ripped my shirt off and killed a beer. And then something happened in the room and I forgot to put it back on. And one of the comics I respected was in the back and he was like, bro, you just did a whole hour with your shirt off.
And how does this work with comfort with your body? Because not everyone can do that. You're the first to be doing that. Not everyone is comfortable enough with their size to be in front of thousands of people shirtless like that because it is funny.
It's interesting because I have this reverse body dysmorphia. So like I heard a story, secret time. Obviously, I'll tell you, but secret time. I heard a story that Chris Pratt was a fat kid growing up and that someone told me like he'll always be fat in his head. No matter how great of shape he is, he'll always think of himself as a fat kid. I was in shape as a kid, and so I do not see myself fat at all. As a matter of fact, I think in Razzle Dazzle, I look low-key jacked. I think I look better than I've ever looked. My shoulders, dude, look at my shoulders.
You are jacked. Oh, yeah. You got some cuts right there. You see it there?
I mean, I'm feeling good. I feel great about my body.
The new Netflix stand-up special, Razzle Dazzle.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Bert, stop making those
Never
faces.
show your belly button.
Yes.
Do that thing where you're,
Let's increase your female viewers.
make your boobs move.
This is a body you can get.
Razzle Dazzle is the stand-up special. How old would you have to be? What is the age if I came up to you and said, Bert, you're not going to believe this, but the new movie, Machine, it's in theaters in May, and Razzle Dazzle, a Netflix special, is happening. At what point in your career, at what age would you have said, yeah, that's a possible dream?
Oh, 50? Where I am. I didn't think any of that was going to happen. Listen, I got to be dead honest with you. I shot Razzle Dazzle in November, and I'm used to the Netflix specials, but with the Machine movie, that was sitting on a shelf. They weren't doing anything with it, and they weren't going to release it. And it wasn't until I leaked it on Rogan that it got life. And so ever since it's got life, now it's got real life, and so I didn't think the movie was ever going to come out.
Dan, Bert's got me feeling confident. You know what? I'm going to join you, Bert, taking the shirt off.
Wow.
I love it.
Well, I'm going to have to do it, too.
I, too, was ripped when I was younger, Bert.
I have to do it.
Let's all be, come on, bros.
Oh, man.
I don't really want to do
Round the horn.
Dude, you're looking good.
The man-o-lantern.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, my
Dan, we're
God.
doing it too. Dano!
20 years, take the top off.
Oh, jeez.
All right. You are allowing us to be more comfortable with our physical
Okay.
appearances.
I have to take off my nipple stickers.
He's a pioneer and an icon.
Oh, look at Dan. Yeah.
Mr. Nipple.
Perfectly
Do this
Sorry,
to
and this shirt,
everybody.
I don't know. It's like a
Cold
routine.
in here.
Yeah,
Because
it
reverse
is
body
cold in
dysmorphia.
here.
Yeah. It's a reverse
It's a
body
really
dysmorphia.
weird time for Jessica to come back
Yeah, I
into the
was
room.
Jessica.
Perfectly
Do not walk in here.
Hey, Jess.
You like it, Bert?
Get out.
beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Why are you massaging?
Andrew Luck making an appearance there. Bert, I do want to know when you were partying. The top partier at the number one.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours, my son.
I have in front of me a top 10 list from Apple, which has identified the 10 best podcast episodes of 2025. As you know, there are way too many podcasts in the universe. Most of them are wildly unsuccessful.
If you don't have a podcast, you're a loser.
But most of them are wildly unsuccessful as
five
businesses. And there are just too many people talking. It's a very cheap form of entertainment, and it's also somehow the future filled with intimacy because so much programming is expensive. Television is far cheaper if you just make your television a podcast. It's been rather shocking in my lifetime to see ESPN2, which used to be a network that was trying to be the edgier form of ESPN and poured a ton of money into programming, just say, nope, let's just pare this down and make it maximum efficient. The podcast business is our business. It's good for us. We are very grateful that our listeners are the kind of loyal that they are, and they've allowed us to birth one of the very few successful podcast businesses that has emerged in the last few years, which is Pablo Torre Finds Out, which now finds itself in the top 10 from Apple on top 10 episodes of the year. I think there are two in here that are cheating, okay? The, New Heights getting Taylor Swift to sit down. It's not just sports. It's all podcasts. It's all forms of intimate talking in podcast form. What are the 10 best episodes of 2025? One of them is cheating when you get Taylor Swift on New Heights because she's engaged to one of the hosts. And Lady Gaga was on another one, but Pablo Torre's episode with Amin about Kawhi Leonard and the Aspiration Clippers scandal is one of the top 10 episodes according to Apple.
How'd the Pete Carroll episode do?
Hey, we're not going to downplay or down-talk my good friends, the Kels brothers. They put out a quality product, okay? And I, for one, am all right with them being ranked ahead of us because it's only 2 spots ahead.
Well, wait
of us.
a minute. I don't think this is ranked in order, is it? I think it's just 10 of them. Otherwise, the Lady Gaga episode is being. These aren't numbered. It's just 10. The top 10 episodes.
Okay. Well, in that case, I'm glad that my good friends, the Kels brothers.
Yo, that's not going to cash on. So stop saying it like that.
That's their name. That's their name. I'm sorry. I like to pronounce people's names correctly.
You're sorry?
You're sorry?
I'm sorry. I'm Canadian
You
today.
say you like to pronounce their names correctly, but I believe you sided with everyone else when I said FSU's quarterback is named Castellanos. I don't care how he pronounces
Agreed.
it.
Well,
his name is Castellanos.
Dan, I'm with you on this. Whenever it's a name that's pronounced incorrectly because they don't understand the origin of their own name, I'm with you. I'm going to pronounce it right, like Kristen Pulisic with a ch, not a k. Castellanos. Who else? Tom Thibodeau.
Supposed
Not
to be
Thibodeau.
Greg Cote.
Cote. We'll call you that from now on.
Congratulations, though. I mean, you were on this episode.
Thank
you. It wasn't just the story. For those of you who don't know, it was.
Clap it up.
Good job, Amin.
Yes, it is.
You obviously clap it out.
Good work out of you.
Thank guys. Come on.
Got a
You
lot
don't
of
go for
nerve
applause.
pointing at the Pope like that.
Too much applause.
I'm a modest guy.
The episode that you guys did is not just because of the allegations in it that, is a huge sports story. It was also the way the story was told because Pablo, ever inventive, decided to surprise both David and Amin with the information and didn't get to it, I don't think, until like 30 minutes into the episode, right? The news breaking portions of that episode, I think, were after the 30-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken. And you guys were just sitting there, both of you were just sitting there waiting for the surprise, and then were genuinely surprised. So congratulations to Amin on that. I wanted to go back to the conversation we were just having.
No speech? Okay. I mean,
Why are you wearing a Rashad McCann shirt?
It's Rayshon Terry.
You can give a speech. I thought you just said while we were applauding, stop, guys, stop. I'm a modest
No, but
guy.
that means like keep going.
I know, but it
Have you never
doesn't-
watched an award
keep going,
show?
keep going. I want to make a speech when
Yes.
I wasn't expecting.
Of course.
All right, so go ahead.
It's like, yeah, I wasn't expecting this. Let me take this out real quick.
If history has taught you anything, it's that you should follow this thread with me and have no regret.
First of all, I'd like to thank Pablo Torre and the entire team for selecting me. I know they could have had any NBA expert who worked in front offices for about 10 years and has a long history of being really great on media. I'm sure there are plenty of those to pick from, but no, they picked me. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to David Sampson, without whom I would have known that we got nominated for this. His tweet basically is what tipped me off to begin with. That's why I didn't have the list. I just saw his tweet. Also, I'd like to thank Dan Le Batard for being so gracious and so kind with his time and his money to allow this podcast to exist right here at Meadowlark Media. Dan, we couldn't do it without you. What?
Minor penalty, 2 minutes, murdering the show with their bare hands in a dismemberment kit in cold blood.
Really thought it was going to work that time.
The best acceptance speech that has ever been made on this show was Denzel Washington talking about his what should have been his acceptance speech for the great movie Virtuosity.
Let me do my acceptance speech for Virtuosity. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the Academy, you know, I want to thank you when you were so kind and, oh, no, I'm not humble enough. Let me start again. No, I got to get the tears going. Wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen of the Academy, I'm just so humbled that you recognize my great action abilities in Virtuosity, and I want to thank the director, even though I forgot his name, and...
Is he 70 yet? Is Denzel?
I think so.
70 years old. Who is the oldest action star we've got going now?
Liam Neeson, probably.
So he's over 70.
I think he's
right?
aged out. You saw his gait
70
in
on the
Naked
nose.
Gun. That gait, Greeky posture. I think he's aged out of action star.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is creaking Liam Neeson? Has he aged out as an action star in his 70s?
Denzel is 71.
Was he creakier than when my man Robert De Niro went to do the kick in The Irishman? Because that was creaky too.
Liam Neeson, 73.
Yeah, he's a little old now.
Well, speaking of old, getting back to the conversation that we were having before, because I was under the impression, whether you're talking about hip-hop being 50 years old or stand-up comedy being something close to 100 years old, maybe it's older than that. I suppose court jesters and all that stuff would make it something that's older than that. But I thought that with art forms in entertainment that moved people or made them laugh, got up in their emotions, I thought that history was respected, even if young people are generally ignorant about history. And I thought that if I said to young people, hey, Eddie Murphy on the Mount Rushmore of comedians, would you put him there? Like, I would assume that you'd respect history in putting together whatever it is your Mount Rushmore is. Like, so if you're here saying to me that Being Eddie doesn't mean anything to you, the documentary, that Eddie Murphy doesn't mean anything to you, then you're also somebody, if we're talking about people who are over 50, who's also not going to have any respect for, hey, you realize that Jamie Foxx is one of the most multifaceted entertainers there's ever been as a talent, or no, you're too young for that because Gold Digger was a long time ago. And like, what is the cutoff on somebody being so legendary and historic, Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, where the talent overwhelms even the ignorance of young people, and you have to say, no, I respect that talent, because you guys are being dismissive of something and someone that I think, obviously, is one of the greats of all time and more talented than almost all of the comedians who have ever done it. Not necessarily as a comedian, though that too, but just in terms of general talent. The acting ability, the being able to have a hit song, the range on that needs to be, I feel like kids need to respect something like that, even if you don't respect history.
Dan, the reason why, if you watch the documentary, they have Dave Chappelle, Jamie Foxx, and these got Kevin Hart talking about Eddie in that way is because it's trying to bridge the gap. It's trying to illustrate to a younger audience who might look at those are the biggest comedians of the day, even if they don't think that those are their favorites. They recognize, Dave Chappelle, big-time comedian, Jamie Foxx, big-time comedian, Kevin Hart, and all those guys are telling you he's the man, right? And what I thought was really curious is that Chappelle kind of, in his own way, identified his generation, which I guess I think on the tail end of that, when he says, I know a lot of people, we respect Richard. Richard's great, but like Eddie was the guy for me. And for me, I know in terms of, stand-up comedy, the first guy that really grabbed me, even though my father had Richard Pryor albums around, it was Eddie Murphy for me. I was always Eddie Murphy, but I think that's an age thing. But the reason why is because they, in the words of Jay-Z, repeat your name so a world with amnesia won't forget your name, right? That's the reason why they do that. But the reality is, for a 25-year-old, most of them haven't even heard of Raw or Delirious.
I think the thing is for Medium, right? Like, I mean, you just said it. Like, there was Richard Pryor albums that you would put in because you didn't have any access to. There weren't specials on TV. There weren't the internet where you could just go in and Google Richard Pryor sets, right? Like, that thing has not been passed down. So nobody's telling younger kids, hey, go check out Richard Pryor on YouTube.
Oh, but what I'm saying about the resume, when Amin says 25-year-olds, on Eddie Murphy's resume before he's 25 is rescued Saturday Night Live. It would not be on today if not for a Eddie Murphy who was younger than 25 when he was on it, and that's not one of the top 5 things on his resume.
Dan, he is the LeBron James of comedy. Like, when you talk about someone that young walking in and being incredible, right? Being just incredible out the gate. When you talk about not being 25, I believe he was 19 years old. He was 19 years old when he went on SNL. I think he was like 21 when he did Trading Places, which I learned for the first time watching that documentary was originally going to be a Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor movie. And I'll be honest, I kind of want to watch that movie. I want to watch the two of them do it because I think, they did the great buddy movies. Would have been real funny. Yeah. The problem is that Richard Pryor burned himself freebasing cocaine. So couldn't do the movie.
Well, I've seen a couple of interesting reveals in documentary form that way. Charlie Sheen was supposed to be the Karate Kid. He was supposed to be Ralph Macchio and was not. That also is a very good documentary. Both of them I've enjoyed.
Martin Lawrence was supposed to be in Rush Hour, but they chose Chris Tucker because he was cheaper.
Good choice.
Look up who was supposed to be in Bad Boys originally.
Oh, yeah. It was like John Lovitz, right?
And Dana Carvey.
What?
John Lovitz, yes. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show.
I want to see that movie.
Did you know that John...
I'm Mike Lowry.
Did you know that John Lovitz was supposed to be in Bad Boys at Le Batard Show? So Lane Kiffin appeared on Pat McAfee yesterday, and it created a great deal of outrage that Lane Kiffin, mercenary, does things differently. I feel like we all know that Lane Kiffin was using Mississippi as a stepping stone. If you didn't know it, perhaps you did when he came on with us and he said, yeah, love this brown lake we've got near campus. Like, it's clearly not a place that he wants to be for a long time. I didn't have any illusion that anyone thought he was supposed to be loyal to that place, but people are bothered that he went on McAfee and talked about self-help books and talked about yoga and denied what is being reported as an ultimatum. Hey, Lane, tell us whether you're staying or going because we don't want to have our entire program thrown up in the air by your indecision. But what is Lane's responsibility in the modern age? I do understand that we're applying old standards, rah-rah standards to, hey, coach, be the educator. But come on, we know what this is, don't we? Like, we know that this is a person you rent to give you offense. Like, that's, Mississippi has no claim to loyalty on Lane Kiffin. Mississippi is a stepping stone for every coach that exists that's coming through Mississippi. Nobody's stopping in Mississippi as the destination or dreaming of being Mississippi's coach until they finish their careers. So what is the nature of the outrage? What's happening here that people are getting upset? I understand why Mississippi would get upset, but that people are getting upset with Lane Kiffin for being such a mercenary about this.
I think the only reason that you're getting upset is because they have a legitimate shot to win the national championship. And is there a scenario where he won't even coach them in the playoffs? And who knows if Ole Miss ever has this scenario again. So I think that's the only place that an Ole Miss fan would be upset right now.
Happen to know?
Oh my God, he knows. He happens to know. Come, everyone. Come and listen. Happens to know. He happens to know. Well informed.
Plenty of people out there that are way more plugged in on this. If you've been following this story, Florida people feel like this is a stone cold lead pipe.
I think he's the next Florida coach.
I happen to know there are meetings happening this week between the parties.
You happen to know again. Hold on a second. We got to do this correctly. For
He happens to know? Great Scott, he happens to know. He happens to know. Gather, everyone. Get the children. He happens to know. So wise.
I'm interested to see how this plays out. We haven't exactly had this situation present itself before, and if he takes that job, does he have a working arrangement that it doesn't affect Ole Miss at all, and he continues finishing that job? How dedicated will they be? Let's say Ole Miss, it would be totally understandable inside the SEC. Mississippi State, even though their arrow isn't pointing up exactly right now.
Sneaky decent Mississippi State, you know that?
Feisty.
You were on that.
Egg Bowl can be close. If Ole Miss drops that game, understandably so, how does a committee look at what's happening with Ole Miss? We know how they looked at what happened with Florida State and Jordan Travis. Is there a scenario in which Ole Miss leaves Ole Miss entirely during the CFP, and now the committee is looking at an Ole Miss coming off a loss in the Egg Bowl, potentially not playing in the SEC championship? How do they look at that? It would be curious.
You do the same thing with the coach that you do with the quarterback, because FSU was undefeated, but
they are
because
so tied.
Whoa.
You're right, Dan?
Wow. That was emotional.
TCU horn frog in your throat.
They are so tied. Sorry.
College joke.
Wow, that was weird.
Rough week.
They are so tied to Lane Kiffin.
You think
that is their identity.
You think they get punished? That Ole Miss gets punished because you don't
do.
You don't think that Trinidad Chambliss is enough? I think that I think the reason that the reason that FSU was knocked out at 13-0 is because everyone knew that once they lost their starting quarterback, that changes the entirety of how it is they play football. You're of the belief that if Mississippi loses Lane Kiffin, he's the only one who can coach offense that way for them.
I don't know. I'm not telling you what to think. I'm asking you if you'd like to. We have a breaking news story here.
Yo, stop laughing. It's not funny.
Hey, you're a sucker. You're a sucker. You're a sucker.
Sucker
of the day. You.
Yo,
sucker.
I don't appreciate it. It's not funny.
Hey,
Y'all laughing at me.
That's the breaking news.
16 minutes ago, Zaslow tweeted out something. He's selling Bitcoin now, apparently, on Twitter.
Oh.
I think he's been hacked.
It's not funny, man.
Sucker move.
So all of
I
you
used to be skeptical about Bitcoin.
Can you guys
What did
stop-
I say? Tell me what I said.
Hold on. Can you stop for a second? Because you guys are interrupting the show, laughing at something that you have not yet introduced to the audience, okay? I see the entire room laughing while I'm trying to engage everyone in a conversation about whether it matters that Lane Kiffin leaves Ole Miss, and none of you are listening to me because Zaslow was hacked. Do you think you should explain that to the audience before you start giggling about
It's
it?
not funny.
They have a screen cap of Jonathan, what is purported to be Jonathan Zaslow's crypto account.
What I
It says
saw.
Jonathan
Hey, you got
Zaslow.
money.
Apparently, you have $80,000 in your
Nice.
crypto.
Wow.
Is that
Nice.
from the bar mitzvah?
Big thanks to @whoever hacked you. What a smooth withdrawal. I used to be skeptical about Bitcoin, but with her guidance, I've been making real profits. Just got paid straight to my bank account. The celebratory party hat emoji. If you're curious, check her out. I'm so glad I did 100 emoji.
You see, you know how it's bullshit? It's not me. I never use emojis. It's not me.
What happened here? And you're just learning, like, what happened that this interrupted? Did you tell them? Did they tell you?
Okay,
Somebody didn't tell me while I was doing the show, and all of you just started laughing and enjoying yourselves
Yeah,
and
I didn't like that.
forgot to do the show with me. Would you like to explain
I
to
didn't
me,
like that.
and as an added bonus, the audience, what happened?
So I tried to get onto Twitter here because I'm trying to learn stuff that we're talking about, and I couldn't sign on, and it's making me do all kinds of garbage to get back on. It's not letting me, and I'm like, shit. I wonder if someone's getting up in my business. And so then I asked Chris because it won't even let me check if I've been hacked. I have no access. So then I asked Chris, "Yo, can you check my Twitter? Something weird might be happening."
And I saw he was, and I just started showing everyone here.
And then everyone's laughing at me. I don't like it.
instead of doing your job, instead,
Well, I was good. I was like, guys,
This is important.
instead of answering Zaz's question, you just distracted me while I was talking and made it so that no one can answer my question because too many people were busy laughing at something that me and Zaz were excluded.
This is bigger than all of us.
Like I said to Chris, I asked Chris, can you go on? Can you check my Twitter right now and see if anything weird's happening? And like 3 seconds later, all of a sudden, Chris turns around and everyone's everyone's laughing.
For the record, I don't think Ole Miss should be penalized if Lane Kiffin leaves. I want to make that clear. I'm just asking the question.
I don't think that anyone other than you is asking that question.
I mean, they did it with Jordan Travis.
I know, but a quarterback and a coach are not the same thing.
You were right. Lane Kiffin is way more identified with that program than Jordan Travis was.
Not as important to the result on the field in any one. Wait a minute.
He is a cult of personality. Everyone assigns their success. Everyone attributes their success directly to that offensive mind calling plays.
Okay, so you're of the belief. You're of the belief that if I take Lane Kiffin, give the team one loss like it has right now, but I take Lane Kiffin off of their sideline.
Tony's calling plays now.
For the playoffs, you're of the belief that the committee or a committee member would say to themselves, I don't believe that team has a chance anymore in the playoffs because Lane Kiffin is not there, the same way that I believe that the undefeated FSU team doesn't have a chance because their quarterback broke his leg.
I don't think it's word for word what you said, but I do think it affects their ranking. I don't think it should cost them the CFP, but it might cost them a home game. I think if you're parsing between Alabama and Ole Miss loses that game, I mean, one loss, absolutely not, because there they'd be proving that they could win without Lane Kiffin. But say they drop that Egg Bowl to Mississippi State, I do think that there are people on the committee that may take away a home game from that team.
Do you realize that what you're doing there, if indeed anyone is doing that, and I don't believe they are, but if anyone is doing that, what you're doing, there might be one other coach in the entire sport, it'd be Cignetti that you do that with, and you wouldn't do it with Cignetti. Like, you would not offer Cignetti. Like, Lane Kiffin would literally be the only person in the sport you're asking that question about.
Greg Sankey must be emailing you because where is this passion when it comes
Talking
to
points,
Utah
Dan. Propaganda.
and Miami's head-to-head?
It's just a weird question that you're asking because it's not something I've ever considered.
I mean, they make no sense. The deer in headlights spokesperson makes zero sense. Well, of course, it would be something that could pop up out of nowhere.
But it makes sense when it's the focal point of the team and not making it because of that thing happening, right? If it's Jordan Travis breaking his leg, why not just throw in a backup quarterback?
But I don't think
your play caller's gone. You're going to bring some guy from upstairs to call plays?
I think Trinidad Chambliss is more important to what it is that they're doing, and that if he was out, it would be more important.
The dude from Ferris State? But I hear you, but the guy that made Trinidad Chambliss a name you know,
but he's going to forget how to quarterback.
Ferris State
He's going to forget how to play football.
A name.
Is Lane Kiffin.
He's going to forget how to play football.
I'm with you.
But it's his plays,
there's did you not see that show yesterday? There's a whole bunch of asinine shit that happened.
I think there's an important distinction. Dan, you're kind of looking at it almost like it's basketball. Like, oh, no, he knows how to play. You can't roll the ball out in football. It is still play calling.
It's play calling. It's prep. It's
leadership.
Yes.
I'm not saying that Lane Kiffin's not important to what Mississippi does, but what you just did was make him the most important coach in all of college football because there's no second coach that you're asking that question about.
Correct. I think
you're not doing it with Ryan Day.
Correct. I think that Lane Kiffin.
There's got to be other coaches.
There has to be other play callers that would be valuable.
In terms of being assigned the success of a program, like he is the cult of personality. He is the name you think of when you think of that program, maybe for all time.
I would say the drop-off between if Lane Kiffin were to leave for the playoffs and whoever's going to wind up taking over for the postseason.
Is it Charlie Weiss's kid? That's the OC?
The drop-off from Lane to that guy I do think would be more significant than the drop-off to say if they lost Trinidad Chambliss to whoever the backup is.
Oh, my God.
It is Charlie Weiss Jr.
No, guys.
You don't think so?
No, guys. They've been working. Look, all year they've been working on whatever it is that they do offensively in practice. You need a good quarterback in order to do that. I don't assume that a backup quarterback can just come in and do what Trinidad Chambliss is doing.
It's not a backup quarterback like a backup in the NFL.
The backup quarterback for FSU won the ACC championship game for the
backup
record.
QBs can be good in college.
I should produce for First Take because this was a winner.
Also, if you look in the NFL game,
So this is funny breaking news here.
Oh my God! What?
Zaz got hacked again?
Yo, you better not say anything
Sucker.
about my Twitter, man.
Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick's girlfriend, just tweeted to Pablo Torre finds out for being one of the best podcasts of 2025. You're welcome.
No.
Heady play. I mean, she's.
It wasn't her podcast that was nominated as
wasn't
one
even
of
the
the
episode.
top.
It was the stepping stone. It was the stepping stone. They were a part of it.
It was the Mississippi job. Jordan Hudson.
It's amazing that it
awesome.
wasn't that episode.
Also amazing here is that Pablo responded, of course, by inviting her on, and that Bill Belichick attended her adult cheerleading competition last night and looked bored and tired.
Oye, Pablo no tiene pena de nada. El tipo, oye, ven para acá, vamos a hacer un podcast. No, deja eso.
Yeah.
Bird.
Tony's so right.
Yeah, he is.
Pablo is shameless. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is Pablo Torre more shameless than Donald Trump?
When it comes to him, I mean, God. Inviting people on your podcast 24/7. Anytime I see a reply from Pablo, it's come on the podcast. I'm like, dude, shut up.
I'll take a stab at this question. No.
The Lane Kiffin one, or
I'm surprised that she spelled "you're welcome" correctly.
You just said shut up, and I think that's something you should immediately take back.
Shut up for a second here.
Get me the entire sound there so that I can hear and that the audience can hear how it is that Cleveland radio host arrived, how quickly that radio host arrived after arguing about Shedeur Sanders at saying shut up and then immediately taking it back with a rare moment of self-awareness, because I really think that shut up in sports radio should escalate to no, you shut up, or don't tell me to shut up. But the apology was so fast here that I believe that the shut up almost got drowned out by the apology.
They used the term development. I didn't use the term development.
But that's not what
you
this,
didn't.
That's,
they
that's
did.
just not
so
what
I'm
this.
going to blame them.
That's not what this league is. This
It
league,
doesn't matter what this league is. It's who they are.
But this league is not Kenny about making sure to force feed a 5th round pick that should not have been drafted after they took a 3rd round quarterback. That is not what this league is. We're not a charity case. This league is not set up to make sure that Deion Sanders' son gets 1,000 reps. I'm sorry, Josina, and I'm sorry, Ken, and I'm sorry all these people that are trying to act like the Browns are sabotaging him. He's a 5th round pick.
I didn't say it was
What are you
sabotage.
guys expecting this league is about?
Hold on.
This isn't Little League.
Hold on.
This isn't T-ball.
Hold on.
We're not trying to foster some great environment for kids to learn.
It's
the NFL.
This is not sports talk radio in Seattle.
My God.
This is no. Shut up for a second here. Sorry to say it like
ridiculous.
that. I take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the shut
okay,
up part away. But let me get back to the matter, because now.
Why'd Seattle catch a stray?
Dan, I think I have an explanation. Without happening to know anything. Just by reading the body language, the way he retracted that shut up so quickly, they must have had an HR violation in that office at some point. Wow. Somebody complained about the use of the word shut up, and it's a little hurtful and a little too grinding, and if we could really not do that anymore. And so he said it, and instantly his mind went back to the HR meeting, and that's when he went into immediate apology.
Shut up for a second here. Sorry to say it
ridiculous.
like that. I take that word away. I take the shut up part away.
Either that or his significant other has been on his ass about it.
Shut up for a second here. Sorry to
Sound
say
ridiculous.
it like that. I take that word away. I take the shut up part away.
It's a good question. Is it about HR or is it about the wife?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Is shut up one word? Because I thought it was 2 words. Is it one word?
It could also be a parenting thing where he's told his kids, we don't say shut up in this house. And then he said it. He immediately was like, no, my parenting.
Do you realize in the way that they were discussing it, okay, they kept interrupting each other, okay? They were very good at interrupting each other to the point that the host got mad and said, shut up. Do you know how fast you have to be in order to get the apology in before the person's even been offended? Because he took it back almost before he'd finished saying the P and shut up.
Shut up for a second here. Sorry to
Sound
say
ridiculous.
it like that. I take that word away. I take the shut up part away.
Shut up. Sorry to say that.
Dan, that's a conversation that's happened. That's a conversation specifically about the use of the word shut up that's already happened. He says shut up instinctively, and then he realizes, oh shit, I don't want to get in trouble.
Shut up for a second here. Sorry
Sound
to say
ridiculous.
it like that. I take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the shut up part away.
What does he say back to him after he said it sounds
Shut
ridiculous?
up for a second here. Sorry
Sound
to say
ridiculous.
it like that. I take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the shut
okay,
up part away.
That's okay, Ken.
Oh, he was really forgiving.
So it's not him then. It's definitely not the
It sounds like Anthony understands that sometimes Ken loses control.
Shut up for a second here. Sorry
Sound
to say
ridiculous.
it like that. I take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the
okay,
shut up part
At
away.
first, it's like, you sound ridiculous. Oh, you just said sorry? It's okay. I forgive you.
because he's a good teammate, number one, but also number two, this tells me even more. It's an HR edict, man. It's not the wife at home saying don't say it. It's not the wife saying about the kids, you told them not you shut up. That's a, hey, I don't want my teammate getting in trouble because we're having a good conversation.
Shut up for a second here. Sorry to
Sound
say
ridiculous.
it like that. I take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the
okay,
shut up part away.
If we put up the picture of them arguing again, you can kind of tell who's the guy that's about to say shut up and who's not. So Ken is a shade of red
Yes,
that is shut up of
detective work
Jason.
out of you.
It is absolutely radioactive colored Brian Kelly. Yes, that is absolutely what's happening there. You can tell by the red in that man's face that
There's a shut up coming.
There's just a temper control problem. Like
Shut up for a second here. Sorry to
Sound
say it like
ridiculous.
that. I take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the shut
okay,
up part away.
Might be a therapist thing or like a doctor thing. Like, hey, Ken.
That is the Ken Carmen Show with Anthony Lima on 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland.
Shout out to
You get a little elevado. Okay, we need you to be down here instead of up here. We need you to be tranquitropi. Okay, not aborotado como tú estás. Tú estás aborotado. No puedes estar así.
Shut
Un
up
poquito
for a
más.
second here. Sorry to
Sound
say it
ridiculous.
like that. I
Papi.
take that word away.
Oh,
I take
that's
the shut
okay,
up part away.
I'd like to go back to Pablo for a second, if I may. Oh, God. And what he reposted, which is Bill Belichick spotted at a cheerleading competition in Raleigh, North Carolina. If I put the top 10 things that you would hate to have to do, but you do it because you love someone, where would going to an adult cheerleading competition rank?
for him. Not for just anybody, for him.
You think maybe this gets him out of like Thanksgiving with her family? He's like, all right,
No.
I can't make it to Thanksgiving, but I will be to this thing you got to do.
I mean, he did a stupid photo shoot on the beach with her. You know, that's got to be ranked pretty high.
that has to
too.
be up.
He's had multiple stupid photo shoots on the beach.
You guys say they're stupid photo shoots, but I don't feel like he was not enjoying the photo shoots. I can say without
Oh, yeah, he
having
was enjoying
seen anything that he did not enjoy the adult cheerleading competition.
I'm looking at the picture right now. He's not. He's
The picture looks like he's sleeping, right? He kind of has his eyes shut,
No, that's the Bill.
looking down at a phone kind of situation.
That's the Bill Belichick, I'm pissed look. I've seen that many a time on the sideline. No, man, this guy doesn't want to be there. Nobody wants to be there. Nobody wants to watch cheerleading. Do they? Does anyone actually enjoy just the watching of
be
cheerleading?
careful.
Of course. I mean, of course, some
People who aren't cheerleaders. Obviously, for them, people who are into the cheerleading culture, it's a big deal. It's like me liking watching basketball. But if you're not into it, I just cannot imagine people like, great, let's watch these people.
Well, to answer your question, this may surprise you, but absolutely, I will stop on a choreographed dance routine that is televised cheerleading competitions that they used to do on ESPN, and I would stop on those.
I'm an ally.
I'm an ally.
That's not even being an ally. That's just,
Dan,
I don't think that's an ally. I think that's simply something that a lot of people would stop on. I think that's why it was televised.
Dan, not since Justin Long in Dodgeball have I ever sat there and watched a cheerleading competition.
Bring It On was last time for me.
Oh, it's a good movie.
A great movie.
Dodgeball's a great movie. What are you guys doing?
I never seen Dodgeball.
What?
Whatever, man.
Tell you, this guy's a sucker. He's been a sucker since day one.
I already told you about
you'd
that.
like-
But he's
hold
very
on.
wealthy in crypto.
Hold on. We got to.
Well, not anymore.
I don't know how to do this, but I've been wanting to do a couple of different things, okay? And I think this is one we can do with Zazzle. I don't know exactly how to do it. You guys help me think this out on air. If you don't get distracted by him being hacked or anything else.
I'm trying, Dan.
Has anyone noticed
He's a
that
sucker.
I'm
He's doing sucker things.
I believe that getting a review of Dodgeball from Zaz, watching it for the first time, would feel to me not unlike some of these videos in my algorithm that I watch of, for example, young people being introduced to In the Air Tonight or Stairway to Heaven, or when a generation, several generations removed from something that was popular, you get to watch the awe and discovery of someone hearing or watching something for the first time that you already like. I thought that we should do this. I requested this a couple of months ago. I thought we should do this with seminal sporting moments that some of the young people around here might not have any sort of reference points for that the rest of us have enjoyed.
I like
Wide
that.
right?
Just anything. Just
I like
it could
that.
be. It could be anything. It could be Marshawn Lynch in a golf cart on the Cal field after the game, just doing wheelies in circles.
Oh, so other teams, not just Florida State.
What is your hacking update?
You're asking me. Dan, I've been hacked.
One tweet.
I don't have access to my Twitter.
There's no update. That one tweet went out. Nothing since.
Should we respond and interact with it?
We can't.
We can't?
We cannot because they blocked whoever it was. So the only person that you can reply to that tweet to is the person that they tagged.
I know.
But I don't want to click the tag because then I might get hacked and I'm not a sucker.
I know this because I wanted to retweet it and I couldn't.
We can't quote tweet it?
No, we can't do anything to it.
Damn.
I was going to ask Grok, hey, Grok, did Zaz get hacked or is he a sucker?
I was going to say, hey, Zaz, thanks. Like, kind of just pretend like it's still Zaz.
It's bullshit, man. I don't like this. Why is there a bagel in front of me with cream cheese?
If Zaz is doing it, I'm in.
Can you explain whether or not you'd be willing to do the dodgeball experiment? Because I am guaranteeing you that you will find dodgeball funny. And I'm surprised you have not seen dodgeball, because not only will you find dodgeball funny, I'm guaranteeing you that your kids will find it funny if you watch it with their kids.
Yep.
There's no circumstance under which Zaz wouldn't find dodgeball funny. Like I honestly think that Ben Stiller is underrated as a comedic genius, even though he's very highly rated as a comedic genius coming from a family of comedic geniuses. You talk about somebody being great at a young age. That guy had a variety show in his 20s just because his parents, he descends from variety show legend.
He works hard.
You know what, Dan? I'm going to say this. The Ben Stiller experience, right? The legacy is muddied. You know what it's muddied by? All his goofy ass Knicks tweets. Who's ruined his legacy more? Ben Stiller or Bill Belichick?
Night at the Museum didn't help.
Oh,
Right,
how
that's a
dare
good
you?
movie. That's a good
That's
movie.
a good movie.
Yeah, file.
You can't be criticizing.
I'm just saying that's one of the misses for me.
No way.
You don't know comedy.
Not only he does after comedy, like I don't know, I don't even know where you'd find Escape from Dannemora now, which he directed, but it's
excellent.
great.
I know what that is, but tell Zaz.
You would love that show.
Really? Okay.
You would love that show,
Locked
Tony.
in. After Running Man.
Formula One is back in Azerbaijan despite its reputation for tight corners and narrow roads. F1 is putting a sprint race in Baku. On Saturday, Charles Leclerc is fearless in pole position as the sprint begins. But at the start, London boy George Russell delivers some karma to Max Verstappen, making him a move to push him wide. Max is red, but George says, don't blame me. Number 22, Yuki Tsunoda clips the wall and loses a tire after just 2 laps. At the restart, Sergio Perez has a lead with 5 laps left. It's time to go. Checo wins the sprint race, but Max and George have bad blood when the race ends. You guys see what I'm doing yet? Will there be vigilante shit on Sunday?
This
Max,
is amazing.
You need to calm down because it's lights out and away we go in Baku. Sparks fly, and Verstappen is driving like he's in a getaway car and pulls out into the lead. Long story short, Nick DeVries has a glitch and a safety car ensues. Perez is in the lead after a slew of pit stops, but he's not out of the woods yet. The one driver, Max Verstappen, has speed, but that's when Sergio Perez says, bye-bye, baby. As the race ends, Esteban Ocon goes into the pit, but the mastermind race organizers have let press onto the treacherous pit lane. This is why we can't have nice things. 7-time champion Lewis Hamilton finishes in 6th. The last great American dynasty, Haas, finishes out of the points, but today was a fairy tale for Sergio Perez. Verstappen finishes in 2nd, which is better than revenge. 1-2 for Red Bull is nothing new. They don't have champagne problems on the podium, but the anti-hero Max Verstappen is only ahead in the Drivers' Championship by 6 points. Fernando Alonso and Taylor Swift rumors are swirling. Long live Formula One. Max Verstappen has won the Drivers' Championship, but we still have 4 races to go. In Austin, Daniel Ricciardo rides a horse named Horsey McHorseface into the paddock. Zach Brown accuses Christian Horner of cheating, and Fort Lauderdale's own Logan Sargent will join Williams in 2023. During quali, Carlos Sainz takes the fastest lap while his teammate Charles Leclerc takes a grid penalty. Martin Brundle gets snubbed by Brad Pitt. Tim Apple doesn't know how to wave a flag. 440,000 people are at the Circuit of the Americas. It's lights out and away we go. On turn 1, Max Verstappen gets ahead of Carlos Sainz, and Sainz tries to recover, but gets hit by George Russell. The Spaniard is out of the race before the 1 lap is even over, and Russell takes a 5-second penalty. Valtteri Bottas' race ends early, and a safety car helps out Charles Leclerc for once. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll get in a massive collision, and debris is everywhere. Lewis Hamilton, on hard tires, leads the race with 10 laps to go, but the Flying Dutchman cannot be beat this year. It's Verstappen, Hamilton, and Leclerc. Sebastian Vettel battles to the finish in his final USGP. Baby Lando finishes 6th, and Yuki gets a point. Red Bull wins the Constructors' Championship for the first time in 10 years, a day after their founder's passing. People are crying, there's champagne flowing, fireworks are popping off. Everything is bigger in Texas, Dan, except for F1 drivers.
Guess it's time for the F1 minute here, even though I want to hear that sound again. The Arkansas athletic director is still hovering over the shoulder of Mike Ryan. Jessica Smetana must be loving everything that's happening exactly how she said it would go with Notre Dame and Miami.
Should we make them promise to play nice here? Or how should we do this on the front end?
Well, first what we're going to do is play the useless sound montage, and then we're going to get to Jessica. But they don't have to promise to play nice. This is going to be Mike Ryan really pissed off, as he has been for the last few days. And I think that Jessica can dance and gloat with a victory lap, because everything that's happened with Notre Dame is exactly what she said was going to happen with Notre Dame. So let's play the useless sound montage.
All right, what a day.
This was a rough night.
Yeah, I've never been in a city this big and this clean before. All wins are good.
It's hard to, go on the road to Tampa.
But like I told them, man,
we got beat every which way you could possibly be beat.
I'm grateful to be a part of this team. I love the way that they just stay connected. They stay together. They're never out of the fight.
We had a good game plan. When you score 32 points, you're supposed to win.
We were hunting up front, that's for sure.
This is not a one-way street where everything is on the players. Coaches are involved in that too.
At the end of the day, it's about making plays.
What a great opportunity for us to be able to learn some things offensively.
We needed to do better. We got beat in every possible way.
From the beginning, executed.
But that's life. It's good to learn.
I'm excited we're 9-2. I'm excited that I don't have to see him until Monday.
But we're never going to apologize for finding ways to be able to win.
I mean, it really was kind of one of those days. I hate saying that, but it was just a little bit of one of those days.
We were playing 7-on-7 football, starting from the midfield and beyond the entire game. That's tough to do in the NFL.
I was really disappointed that we didn't stop them.
Why would you ask me a question? Are you trying to bait me? You going to get me fined right there?
Details and discipline. That was a box that we didn't check off today.
The most important thing is, just secure the W.
Gonna fly back to LA.
You want to talk about some good bread? Anywhere I go, there's awesome bread.
Percentages, you're going to take a few and lose a few of those.
And that's why I say stats are for losers.
We got challenged in a lot of ways, but you're going to get challenged in the National Football League on weekends.
When defense gave us a stop, we turned it into points, and then vice versa. If we got stopped, defense would go back and forth with that.
I don't think we have any more plays left on the call sheet.
We played better, pissed off.
Yeah, we got beat every which way you could get beat.
At that point where we got to find a way just to win football games and got to keep moving forward. That's what this league's all about.
I didn't help those guys, and I hate that.
Doesn't matter what I think. I'm not the ones making the call. So
I thought Trevor was playing really well, especially, just spitting the ball accurately.
You got to be able to throw short and run long sometimes.
You're trying to look at everything while also trying to focus on what you're doing. So you never try to relax.
And whether we came up short and they make that field goal or whether we end up winning, there's nothing like celebrating with those guys.
You don't make that decision unless, I thought the play was going to work and it didn't.
The guys just executed and played their tails off.
We got stability at the safety position. Other than, Jalen not finishing the game.
Hawaii. So the United States again, but just go play in Hawaii. I think that'd be pretty cool. But in Europe, shoot, it'd be pretty cool to go play in Jerusalem. I don't know. That'd be sick.
Roy, were you laughing because of Mike Tomlin speaking in poems? You got to be able to throw short and run long sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. That doesn't make any sense.
Splash.
He's great at little poems that say nothing. McVay's hard charging when it comes to saying
He's
little
so good.
coach gibberish that doesn't mean anything. And then I'm pretty sure I heard Mike Ryan in there. Did I?
That was Pete Carroll.
The most important thing is, just secure the W.
That was not Pete Carroll.
Yeah,
no.
I hear the chewing of gum.
The most important thing is, just secure the W.
Pete
That
Carroll.
was pregame, but Monday night, I think.
If last week's game for the Chiefs was a must-win against the Broncos and they lost it, what's this week's game against the Colts?
Must win. Double must.
Season ender if they lose.
Waterloo.
Jessica Smetana is with us now, and there's plenty in college football to talk about. I want to bring her in on the Lane Kiffin conversation that we were having earlier. The alleged ultimatum that he denied on the Pat McAfee show. What do you make of everything happening there? And what did you make of Mike Ryan's contention that the question that if Lane Kiffin doesn't coach during the playoff games, that the committee might consider just taking him and Mississippi out entirely the same way they did FSU when they lost a critical piece and were undefeated?
Yeah. I don't know what would happen if that's the case. That's why this is so crazy, because Ole Miss is actually in a better position this year than they were last year into getting into the playoff. That would not be the case if they had actually lost to Florida last weekend, which looked like it could happen. But it's one of those things where at first, it's like when you're in a relationship, if you have to give the other person an ultimatum, you should probably just break up. Like, they've already kind of broken up with you at that point. You don't really want to get to the ultimatum route. Obviously, his denial was noteworthy. He said that's absolutely not true. There's been no ultimatum, anything like that. And I don't know where that came from. Like a lot of stuff out there. He then posts, his Tumblr poems and stuff on his Twitter account afterwards. But yeah, reportedly his family was in Gainesville and Baton Rouge last week. So that is where it's coming from. I think he knows that. And The Athletic and both them and On3 said there was an ultimatum. So I don't know. You could believe Lane Kiffin or believe the reporting. Either way, we all know he's sniffing around. He hasn't signed an extension yet at Ole Miss. So it would not surprise anyone if he took one of these jobs, as we all kind of expected when they both became open.
Did you hear Kim Mulkey weigh in on the situation?
No.
She took all the air out of it. She was on the Zoom leaning in he's meeting in Gainesville. Stop asking him. I know everybody here is so interested in Lane Kiffin.
She was joking about the lack of reporters there. You guys are all on the Lane beat right now.
I'll do this for you. He's in Gainesville.
You mentioned, though, Jessica, who do you believe?
I like her.
Lane Kiffin or the reporting? You believe the reporting, right?
I mean, maybe there wasn't necessarily a direct ultimatum given, but maybe, maybe they're both right. Maybe they've told him, hey, you need to make a choice about this. Maybe they didn't give him a deadline of the Egg Bowl or whatever it is. But I think both can kind of be true, right? I mean, maybe we're just splitting hairs. He didn't necessarily say, I'm not looking into other jobs. He said there's no ultimatum.
Put it on the poll, please. If you have to give a person an ultimatum, should you just break up? I was asking earlier, would there be any other coach in the nation, any other coach that you wouldn't laugh at the possibility if that person doesn't coach in the playoffs, then maybe his team shouldn't be in the playoffs, even if his team deserves to be in the playoff? What Mike Ryan was suggesting there is not something I would apply to any other coach in that sport.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about all that, but I do think if he did leave the team and then they went into the playoffs and won a game, I mean, that would have to crush him, right? That he's been wanting to be in the playoffs this whole time, and for that to finally happen, it's the same reason why Brian Kelly was criticized so much when he left Cincinnati before a New Year's Six game and left Notre Dame while they were still in the conversation for the 4-team playoff. It would be a terrible and almost unprecedented thing to do, to leave your team before a playoff. So that's why I can't really apply any sort of precedent for it.
What did you make of yesterday's made-for-television stupidity?
Honestly, I don't think that Miami's necessarily out of it. I think there's still a dozen or so games left that are going to matter a lot to this. I mean, the Oregon-USC game this weekend is going to be huge. Obviously, the Iron Bowl is always, even without Hugh Freeze, I mean, maybe even because Hugh Freeze is gone, is going to be a good one. We still don't know who's even going to play in the SEC championship game because there's a number of scenarios there. We don't know who's going to play in the ACC championship. There's still a backdoor way Miami gets into it. So I don't know. My opinion since the first ranking came out was we have to just let some of these games play out. It's possible Notre Dame could stumble against one of their next opponents. And I don't even mean necessarily just lose, but obviously the committee will look at if they have game control. That's something that they care about a lot. Same goes for Miami. Same goes for BYU and Utah and Vanderbilt and Alabama. So I'm not counting my chickens, Dan. I'm not booking my ticket to Oklahoma for the first round playoff game against Notre Dame. But I also, when I came on this show 2 weeks ago after the first ranking, I thought Mike was going to be really mad and yell at me, and he was totally defeated and was like, yeah, we played like crap and like blah, blah, blah. Miami needs to look at themselves in the mirror. And now it's like, okay, I feel like it's kind of late for all this. Like, this has been the case now for over 2 weeks.
You can count your chickens. You can count them.
I'm not counting my chickens.
You can count them, though. Notre Dame can count its chickens. What do you mean? You're playing like Syracuse. You don't have anything left.
Yeah, but I think that what the committee head said last night was that if Miami and Notre Dame get closer, maybe they will factor in a head-to-head. But right now they're not in the same pod, and they've ranked the teams. I know you guys have already discussed this by now, but like 3 at a time, they'll do, or Oklahoma, Notre Dame, and Alabama were the 3 that they were debating the order of in this ranking. It wasn't Alabama, Miami, and Notre Dame, or Vanderbilt, Alabama, Notre Dame. So I think it's possible that there is some sort of upset in the middle there, and it brings the 2 teams closer together. I also think if that is the case, then both teams should make it. I think Miami is a good football team.
Jessica, another big question today regarding Notre Dame is: does Notre Dame have to kick back to the Vatican? Like, do they got to
No, I don't think.
Again with this?
Notre Dame's endowment's probably.
I let him go. I'm like,
Minor
okay,
penalty, 2 minutes,
we have some
dumpster juice
discourse here,
taste.
but Amin has something good here.
Imagine that, guys. I try to get Jessica's answer. She's enthusiastic and want to give it. And what do you guys do? Talk over her allies? I think not.
Okay.
Thanks, Amin.
I got your back.
The Vatican probably, in terms of their art collection, real estate, etc., I think that's more valuable. But in terms of monetary endowment funds, Notre Dame probably has close to the same amount of money as them in their endowment. I mean, I think maybe it's the other.
That can't be
What?
true.
No,
Notre Dame's got
she's
a
right.
$13 billion endowment.
She said it like this,
They
though.
have a
guys, so.
crazy endowment.
Vatican has their own city in the world.
That's what I said,
country.
Tony. Did you listen to the first part
I've
of
been
what
there.
I said?
Martin
I've
also
been
has
there.
his own city.
I've been there. My point is, okay.
Okay, but if you do say it like that, it does make me believe you more when you do it with clenched teeth and sort of let some of the words sneak out between your teeth.
If I may jump in, I understand what they said. Somehow Notre Dame is in a different tier because of its loss to Miami than the tier that Miami
Pods
gets
or
to be in
tiers?
for beating them. We're not going to agree on we're not going to agree on Miami Notre Dame, but they're separated by 3 teams. Like this was my issue with yesterday's television show. The chair said a bunch of things that made no sense. 3 teams is not close enough to start counting head to head.
Mike, if I may say, I agree with you. Letting humans decide on these very complicated orderings of teams with a million variables is, there's always going to be bad choices made. We should just let the computers do it again. And by the way, the computers have Notre Dame ahead of Miami, as do the BCS rankings.
Right. We got away from the computers because they didn't take into account head to head, and that pissed us off. And now here's a committee doing the same thing. But I want to move on to some other things Hunter Yurachek said. You shouldn't be leaving one of these with more questions and more conflicts and more hypocrisies. This is something that he said basically in the same breath. He said that Oregon still gets credit for beating Penn State, even though the Nittany Lions fell off after that game. And in the same breath said, it hurts Virginia that Louisville fell out of the rankings. That was one of their best wins. This makes 0 sense. And it's a hell of their own design.
The Penn State-Oregon thing is one of those human calls that is difficult to really wrap your head around, because Penn State had not played anyone out of conference that was good before the Oregon game. But we watched the Oregon game, and Penn State was toe-to-toe with them. And if you think Oregon's a good team, which I think is also up for debate, I actually think that this USC game, it might be a playoff eliminator for Oregon. I don't see a way with their resume that they stay in the top 10, I guess, if they lose to USC this weekend. Right now, they're 8-point favorites at home. That's because that Penn State game really hasn't aged well. But I think that one, I don't know what you do with that, Mike. Like, I don't know what you do with that. Penn State obviously completely fell down the crapper afterwards and fired James Franklin, but they are a good football team statistically in some of the advanced analytics, despite the fact that they barely have a Power 4 win. So I don't know. I think that's like totally human judgment call that I don't know what you do with.
They clearly pick and choose the advanced analytics because Miami has 4 top 40 SAG wins, and that doesn't take into account. But I think one of the more curious things
the SAG,
here, Jess,
if you also want to look at like SAD ratings, Notre Dame is ahead of Miami in that too.
Yeah, look, this is all data points, and those are all really good tiebreakers, just like quality loss is a good tiebreaker in the committee's own words in the event that there isn't a head-to-head. But in Miami and Notre Dame's case, there is a head-to-head. Also, if you apply the quality loss, quality win logic, there's no reason you should be ahead of BYU if you're Notre Dame. But the thing that I
think that the committee, though, is looking at the Texas A&M game, which was a 1-point loss that Notre Dame had at home, and they're just not really dinging them for it because that game came down to like a botched hold.
All right, well, I ding
them. That's just what I think about like quality loss or whatever. I think they're saying like that game's basically a toss-up. Like that was a 1-point game against a team that's now still undefeated and probably has a pretty good chance at making the SEC championship game as long as they beat Texas.
I'm not knocking Notre Dame's playoff credentials. I think them being ahead of Alabama is the right thing. I think Notre Dame is a playoff team. I think Notre Dame is a playoff team.
No, but you think they should be ahead of Alabama?
Yeah, because Alabama lost to a trash cellar dweller from the ACC in Florida State. But the thing that I'm most curious by is them backlogging the top 25 with teams that can boost resumes when they don't deserve to be in there. I highlighted Arizona State. Their best win Arizona State at number 25. That represents Utah's best win. Jeff Sims was at quarterback there. Arizona State is not ranked in the AP. They are not ranked in the coaches poll. They are behind SMU and Louisville and others receiving votes there. However, they find themselves at number 25, conveniently a week after Utah's athletic director joins the committee. Also, you take number 20 Tennessee and number 22 Missouri. Those two teams have combined for 0 FBS wins against teams above 500. They are just there to reverse engineer arguments for the teams that are in the top 15.
I hear you. I think that like even if you look at this week's AP poll, I believe North Texas, the last 5 or 6 are Tennessee, JMU, North Texas, Missouri, Tulane, and Houston. I feel like we're kind of splitting hairs there. Like, I think JMU is not in the CFP rankings because their strength of schedule is not good enough. Like, they have one loss to an Power 4 team in Louisville. Louisville's not ranked in either after I don't know if you guys watched the Friday night Louisville-Clemson game. What a freaking disaster that was. I mean, just a horrible game. But then, I don't know. Tulane, they need to put in there. I think that's fair across both the CFP and the AP. Missouri is in both. Like North Texas has a really bad loss, but they're 9-1. They still have a pretty good shot at winning their conference. Mike, I just don't know how you backfill that and compare like Illinois to North Texas. Like I don't think that that's necessarily wrong. It's just like depends on what you care about when you're ranking them. Like Illinois has beaten better teams than North Texas has. They've also lost by 50 points to Indiana. So
I'm not even using the group of 5 in this argument. Like Tennessee at 20 and Mizzou at 22, they are only that high in this CFP to boost the argument for teams that are actually in the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Tennessee, I can see that. I think their best win is probably
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State.
That's a joke.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
That's sneaky decent.
Why are they ranked ahead of SMU? It's a joke.
Because SMU lost to a pretty bad Baylor team, and they lost to a pretty bad Wake Forest team by 1 point. Only scored 12 points in that game.
We're talking about losses, though,
and lost to TCU, which is also
and
not
beat
a great
Miami.
loss.
But like you have to ask, who did Tennessee beat? Why? What is this mental programming that the CFP has where they value quality losses more than head-to-head matchups, more than quality wins? The point of football is to win a game, and we're out here arguing. We're entering every debate with who did they lose to? It's so
philosophically,
dumb.
I totally understand where you're coming from. I don't even really disagree with you on any of it. I think that they're just, whether you agree with their logic or not, like they're looking at a team's ceiling versus their floor. And if your floor is a lot lower than another team's floor, I think they're dinging you for it.
Jess,
I don't know if I agree with it, but
Jess, are you going to have a problem if in a couple weeks the Canes, they win their games, so they wind up moving up a couple spots, let's say, in the playoff rankings, and then the committee does exactly what Juracek said was, okay, now Notre Dame and Miami are close together, so we got to evaluate them. Miami then jumps Notre Dame, and Notre Dame finds itself out. How mad are you going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be disappointing, but I also think that, like, Notre Dame knew going into week 3 against Texas A&M that they probably needed to win that game to be a lock in the playoff, and they lost by 1 point. Now, I think Notre Dame has vastly improved in the last 8 games, and I think the committee's taken note of that. Their defense is basically shutting out teams in the second half. They've held their last, however many opponents to only a touchdown, maybe 2. This last game against Pitt, they shut out the offense until the last 4 seconds of the game when they scored in garbage time. So I think Notre Dame is totally deserving. And of course, I'm extremely biased. And I think they're also probably taking into account that CJ Carr was playing his first road game against Miami as the starting quarterback, et cetera. But I think that that's Notre Dame knew if they were going to start 0-2, they would have to get a little lucky with the rest of the teams in the standings. And so far they have gotten lucky, but we know that there's still 2 games left. And like I said earlier, if Notre Dame even has any sort of, close game against Stanford, I think that could end up hurting them too, even if they win.
Check out her extremely biased Notre Dame podcast with Mike Golick
right.
Jr., the Echoes. I'd be totally fine with North Texas being in the playoffs. I'd be totally fine just choosing the 12 best quarterbacks and putting them in the playoffs. I think Drew Mestemaker is one of the 12 best quarterbacks in the country.
Yeah, he's good. I think that I feel bad for the G5 teams this year. I think everyone's mad at them, and they're also in 2 large conferences where they can't all play against each other, and whoever ends up making it is going to be a multi-touchdown underdog, and they're going to get laughed at, and I'm going to feel bad for them, and it's going to make me feel bad, even though it shouldn't, because this is the playoff format that we all decided on when there were 5 power conferences, and now there's only 4.
Jessica, do you know anyone who's not already a cheerleader who watches recreationally cheerleading competitions other than the scene in Dodgeball where Justin Long goes to compete in Vegas?
Do I know someone who's not a cheerleader who watches cheerleading competitions? Is that your question?
Earnestly, yes.
Yes. I know one person. He was the former head coach of the New England Patriots. He actually currently coaches the North Carolina Tar Heels. He was at his girlfriend's co-ed cheer event this past weekend.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, that's why we were discussing it, and Amin was saying that nobody likes watching. What was that? What does that mean?
Time to get in it.
It's Jessica's
Internet Minute.
Go ahead, Jess.
That's your cue, Jess.
Oh, okay. Wait, can I have a ruling on if this counts as an internet minute?
Well,
it happened in real life, but I read about it on the internet.
It does. It counts.
Okay, Dan, what do you know about this reporter named Olivia Nuzzi/Nuzzi? I'm not sure how to say her last name.
You know about that?
She had an affair with Scrotum Face?
Her name's Nuzzi?
Which Scrotum Face?
Lot to pick
the
from.
The Dolphins
Dan.
logo?
Because there's multiple affairs with scrotum faces that potentially occurred in this story,
Including one with 2 scrotum faces.
All right, go ahead and give me the details.
I wish I knew nothing about this, Dan, but unfortunately I've learned everything that there is to know about this person against my will. So this woman was a political reporter. That's disgusting.
Dolphins logo.
It's an old man's ass on the.
we don't know about that.
It's an old man's ass on the dolphin helmet.
It's like a werewolf's ass. Okay, so she was a political reporter, and I don't know. I feel like people have probably seen this name around, and they're like, "What's the deal with that?" So I'll explain.
She pretends to be a journalist
right.
while dating or having an affair with RFK, who she was profiling.
So yes, the story came out last year that she had an affair with RFK Jr., who she had written a profile for. So then she was, I guess, sort of let go of her New York Mag job. Later on became the West Coast editor of Vanity Fair. And her ex-fiance, Dan, is also a political reporter who previously worked at The New Yorker but was let go because of some other misconduct allegation. He wrote a blog post the other night. This is where it gets there's a dramatic twist.
A what?
He wrote a blog post or a Substack, whatever you want to call it. the other night about her affair with this presidential candidate. But then if you read the whole thing, there's a huge twist at the end. Allegedly, this was about Mike Sanford, not even about RFK Jr. She's had multiple affairs with presidential candidates and previously dated Keith Olbermann. And there's your sports tie.
She's got a type.
By the way, Dan, I wore a costume today. I'm The Rock. I have a fanny pack on.
Oh,
Okay,
nice.
yeah.
You're welcome.
Well done.
It is. Thank you, Jessica. Again, her extremely biased Notre Dame podcast, The Echoes. With Mike Golick Jr. Yes, we'll do it this way, I guess. This is not an echo chamber. Thank you, Jessica. Appreciate the time.
Bye.
I wanted to ask something based on a contention that Mike Ryan has had here for a couple of days. I don't know how you guys do these kinds of measurements. Mike Ryan has said, and Tony, I'd like you to help me here because I'm going to go to a roster literally from 40 years ago. Mike Ryan has said that the University of Miami's offense this year is positioned to be the second best in the history of the program, the best one being the one with Cam Ward.
No, last 20 years.
Okay. So the best since, okay, so I was going to go back 40 years because I didn't realize I thought you were saying it was the second best statistical offense the University of Miami has had. Regardless, the conversation I wanted to have with you is if in the modern age, right, there are two offenses I think of in University of Miami history when I think of just sheer absurdity, right? There's the one at the beginning of the 2000s where you had Clinton Portis, Willis McGahee, Frank Gore in the backfield. You had Bryant McKinney as a first-round pick on the offensive line, and you had Andre Johnson. I don't know who the second receiver on that team was. Andre Johnson was a top pick. But then when I look back at the 1986, I believe, offense of the University of Miami, you had, as the wide receivers, you had second-round pick in Brian Blade, second-round pick in Brett Perriman, first-round pick in Michael Irvin, and your quarterback was Vinny Testaverde, a first-round pick, and Alonzo Highsmith was your running back, so that's a top-5 pick as well. I don't look at the University of Miami offense and see a whole bunch of first-round and second-round picks. Do you?
On the line, we'll see what happens with Markel Bell. But Mawanoa, on the offensive line, they have two of those players. Believe it or not, out of all the offenses you just invoked, last year's was statistically the greatest offense in the history of the program.
Correct. And so the question I was going to ask you and Amin when we start talking about the changes in how it is the game is played, right? You can tell me that Restrepo is the best receiver in Miami history because the production suggests as much, but he's not.
Correct.
And so
he's not the best receiver to ever put on a jersey.
So how do you do this? I just listed in a sort like that's an absurdity of wealth I'm talking about, where you cannot dispute what I'm saying. That amount of talent at the skill positions is just asinine. And so
did Testaverde go number 1 overall?
Yeah. Yes. And so you got Testaverde number 1 overall. You got Highsmith behind him. You got Bratton behind him as well. Like Melvin Bratton
was good.
Like that was a first round pick as well. So I'm not looking at this Miami offense, and I mean, maybe Malachi Toney is a high pick. I don't know. He seems undersized. Maybe his quickness is such that 3 years from now he will be a high pick because he's an obviously very productive receiver. But how do you guys do this when the game has changed so much that what you're talking about is collegiate talent and passing, but you're not really talking about, oh, I see those skill guys and they're just unbelievable.
I think Amin could probably invoke the NBA in that all kind of NBA stats are cuckoo right now. Like Buddy Hield's one of the greatest 3-point shooters of all time. Statistically, where is he all time?
So, like, that's a crazy thing. I remember when Reggie Miller's 3-point record was broken. It was a big deal. Ray Allen did it, and then Steph Curry broke his. And I just saw last night that Reggie Miller is now 7th or 8th on the all-time.
LeBron passed him, right?
Yeah, LeBron passed him. So it's like all these little things. Vince Carter in one night got passed on 2 different things. He got passed by Steph Curry in points scored and passed by LeBron James in seasons played. The numbers are accelerating because of the pace and the style of play. But this goes right back to Dan. When I hate when people are like, "Ooh, it's better." So like, it's impossible to compare. Like, just because the numbers are bigger doesn't necessarily mean this is a better quality athlete.
I feel like, because we're going back 40 years, right? 1986. I feel like sometimes we obviously acknowledge how much better, how much more skilled, bigger, faster players are today than they were, say, 40 years ago. I don't think we mention often enough how much better the coaches are. Like, coaches today, the way they scheme, design the plays, play calling is definitely so much better and more complicated than it was 40 years ago. Like, those players that you just mentioned back in 86, if you had those guys on this Hurricanes team, it's completely different than with these current players, but this kind of coaching, meaning, the kind of plays, design, schemes, and all of that.
With just the technology that's available, think of scouts. Think of how many cameras we got. Think of our ability to have playbooks not on thick stacks of paper, but on an iPad.
Yeah.
And each play has video associated with it. The tools available to the modern athlete are so much far beyond what we had 40 years ago.
There's no way the coaches back then in 1986 were close to what they are right now.
Zazzy, even
Bill Walsh with like a word.
Even though it's staffing, right? Like the idea of like how big was the staff 40 years ago versus the staff now? There's just so many people just around on the staff who can do these things.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned that because we didn't talk yesterday at all when you mentioned staff that Chip Kelly's making $6 million a year. He's the highest paid offensive quarterback in the league. Coordinator, excuse me. And I find amusing that so many people were upset about the conflict of interest with Tom Brady when clearly he's not providing anything on offense that is helping them in any way when Ashton Genty is carrying 6 times for 7 yards and leads
When
the
Matthew
league.
Berry told us he was going over.
Yeah, leads the league in being tackled in the backfield and being hit before. Like, I've seen Ashton Genty, and this has to be a record, an NFL record. I have seen Ashton Genty hit 7,000 times this season before he gets the football. Like there are people in that back. That's a bad Dallas defense. So
They did make a personnel change, though. That was a helpful acquisition, and it directly impacted Genty in that game.
Correct. But what has happened clearly, look, I think Pete Carroll regrets going back to Oakland. I think he underestimated, as we all did, how much Geno Smith was helped by having Metcalf, Lockett, and Smith and Jigba on the same team. Like, those were all on the same team at one time, those 3 guys, and they clearly made Geno Smith look a lot better than he looks right now.
You take Ashton Genty over his rushing yards, and then you check mid-game. He's got 2 rushes for -1 yard. Not a good feeling.
Christ. Yeah. Dallas was putting so many. They had 700 people in the box.
Matthew Berry didn't tell me that.
I saw Leon Lett and Too Tall Jones get into the backfield and hit Ashton Genty. The thing that happened in that game, though, what are you paying Chip Kelly for? Like, what is Tom Brady doing there? Like, we talked so much about conflict of interest, and he's wearing a headset. What possible wisdom is he giving them? They are terrible at offense.
The Chip Kelly thing is interesting, and it's why the NFL, when they talk about Lane Kiffin, they worry about his offense. Why would we trust you to develop our quarterback, even though you worked with him before, when you have a recent history of guys coming back from college to the NFL and their offense is not working out?
When we see Brady in the booth and he's got the headset on and everything, are we sure he's not just practicing broadcasting?
Well, there's no proof that
too.
he's getting better at it, so I don't know how much he's practicing.
There were a few plays the last time I listened to him where I was like, he seems to be stopping now. Because, before he was just pushing through the next play. There were a few times where I'm like, he may have gotten the note because he stopped talking at the right time. He's still not great, but he at least has the timing down a little better.
It's kind of like one of those things with the great players. Like, why can't great players be great coaches? Like, just go do what I did. And it's like, hey, Tom, we can't. Like, I'm Geno Smith. I can't do what you did.
Whose job is it to give Tom Brady notes? Who's the guy?
Producers?
I know whose job it is on paper. I'm talking about in real life. Who's the one? You tell him. No, you tell him. You tell him. Tom, can you?
I pictured Burkhardt just being like, try to stop before the next play starts.
You guys say that, though, but I have found that athletes take to coaching well and want to be better, so they crave criticism. Like, they're different than most media people. They are not the sensitive
He's like, give it to me straight. Right after the first one, he's like, give me real notes.
I assume he wants to be better at it. I don't think he wants to be bad at it. I don't think he wants to be bad at anything.
Do you think, like, it matters, though? Like, he wants to be better. He already knows the check's coming. It's like, I can just kind of do my thing.
He sees he gets the overall vibe of the internet. I feel like he could tell that it was not positive.
Tony, that goes against everything I know about Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady is fighting like hell to not have his name brought up as the biggest gulf between what they did on the field and what they did in the booth, because right now he's top of that heap.
Who's got that title? Who's he taking that title from?
That's
Marino?
a great.
That's a pretty good one. That's a pretty
good
good nominee for somebody who was great on the field,
Reggie Miller,
but was famously bad at broadcasting, or is famously.
Remember
bad
when he wanted to be a stand-up comedian? That was like a short stint of like, yeah, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. And we're like,
who did?
Really? Tom Brady.
That's crazy.
Before he was broadcasting, he was like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian. We were all like, really? Okay.
I don't remember that part.
You're telling me Tom Brady's going to stand up in front of me and say things and I'm going to laugh?
Look it up.
There's no way.
Look it up.
I don't think.
And
was
you
that
remember.
real?
I know you remember.
Yeah, no,
you're locked in on stand-up comedy. I know you do.
But was that for real? For real?
It's like when T.I. tried to stand up. It's like, I don't know. Like
Blake Griffin tried stand-up. Blake Griffin was good at stand-up.
He's good. Tom Brady, bad.
I have had a source of tension here for these 3 hours, and I'm going to say pretty close to the 24 hours before it. There have been very few sources of tension with Zaz since he's been here, but he left here yesterday genuinely pissed off because he felt like I was asking him a question that I was asking Amin.
I know you were.
And everyone was confused by whether I was asking Zaz the question or whether I was asking Amin the question, and then Amin objected by when Zaz answered the question.
The look that Amin was giving me, I was confused while I was talking. And Amin, why are you looking at me like that? I'm answering a question here. I'm giving good information. Amin was very upset. I didn't like it.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
And so the tension here develops into what ruling from among everybody? What do we come to?
Did you say ruling?
Yes, a consensus.
All rise. The Honorable Jonathan
Wait a
Zaslow
minute.
now presiding
He's,
with prejudice.
Wait a minute. He's ruling on his own. He's going to rule. He's got bias here. What do you mean it's without prejudice? He's got prejudices here. He's going to
Dan,
rule.
enough from you, your papacy?
Thank you. Dan?
You want to explain to people? Do you want to explain it any more? Does it need any more context than what I've just offered on what it is?
I know how to run a courtroom. Thank you very much, Dan.
I'm sorry.
So let's revisit the question in question from yesterday's show. Let's play. I need some evidence here, and we will decide if the question was for me or the question was for Amin. Can I please? This is Exhibit A.
You have been very hard on LeBron James, Zaslow. You have said that LeBron James is faking an injury.
Oh, yeah.
It made me laugh to see the headline, LeBron James, and then parenthetically, sciatica. Returns to the Lakers. You are thinking what's about to happen here, given that the usage rate of Luka has made the Lakers look like the Mavs that went to the finals.
Yeah.
Because when you give Luka the ball all the time and just allow him to dominate the ball, he will dominate the game. And, I'd be curious about your thoughts here, because the Lakers with Luka through 14 games, and Luka has missed a few of them, and Austin Reeves has been great. They haven't looked like they missed LeBron at all, even though statistically LeBron was a top 10 player in the league last.
That was the first half of the question.
Okay. Holy crap, what a long question. All right. I would like some eyewitness accounts. Mike Ryan, please.
Some witnesses?
Hey, how's it going, buddy? I was here earlier.
I think that question was for Amin.
Chris, I would like an eyewitness account.
You're a biased judge.
I'm getting eyewitness accounts.
I think it started
you
for
made
you.
a face. You got a witness. You're threatening the witnesses.
I think it started for you, and then Dan realized as he was asking it, like, oh, Zaz isn't the perfect person to ask this question to. It's Amin.
This is like a 3/4 of the way, Zaz. He pivots at the last second for Amin. So if you're asking me who was this question for, I'm going Zaz.
If it may please the court, he's just talking
Go
to
ahead,
Zaz.
Amin.
He's just talking to Zaz. He says, Zaz, you're one of those guys, and he makes his point, and then he ends with the question directed at me.
He asked the question invoking Jonathan Zaslow's name, and then mid-question, you may have heard, asks another question directed at Jonathan Zaslow, and then later in this godforsakenly long question, does he then address Amin? I rule in favor of the question being for Jonathan Zaslow.
No!
Forgivable. That's my gimmick. You don't pour water on me.
Guys, listen up. The Emirates NBA Cup is rolling. Big games, big stakes, nonstop drama. Get in on all the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code DAN. That's code DAN. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.